Whoa. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. I think I might be ready for this. So maybe just move it to my left over here, and there it is. So I have been waiting for a while in order to keep continuing with this next episode. I have been having a lot of things that have kept me busy during these last few days. But I have been thinking about wanting to keep streaming this for a while, and I'm back. So the last time we accused the coroner of being an accomplice in the murder. So that being the reason why we don't see why we are seeing the body double that we think that might be a waxwork is being considered as if it was the truth, a true body. But that doesn't make sense because there was only one odious assman dead. For now, I think that everything that's been going on, it's been too chaotic for me to just explain it in a bit. And you're gonna start seeing these episodes pop up on my YouTube account little by little. I haven't actually been posting my last 8 episodes that I have been recording ever since May in my YouTube. And the next one is, oh, hi Paradox, how you doing today? So this is just the opening, as you can tell. Kinda catching up on everything that's been going on, and of course this time I'm keeping track of my performance because, as you know, my stream last time had to be stopped because of the quality of the stream that was happening. But yeah, if you want to catch up on everything that's been going on before, I have been making sure to post everything on my YouTube. I'll maybe post it later. I think that it might be in some of my windows over here, but I'm not really sure. I need to start making this more... Ooh, I got an objection here, which means that Gainsborough has subbed here and TQM, that's Te quiero mucho. So hey, that means you're from Mexico or Latin America at the very least. Thank you very much for joining in this. I hope that you enjoy everything here. I hope it's not too spoiler to everybody that's watching, or more like it's gonna be, because it's a whole story. But I hope that you enjoy it, because to be honest, this is just a reaction that you want to share with the world. Just an Ace Attorney game is something that you can only experience once. Oh, that means Ragnarok, of course. That does make sense. Anyway, I think that we have to keep going. So for now, we're about to have a new witness, and this time it's Madame Two Spells, the maker of the, what do you call it? The waxwork figures. Here we go. So, as we said, we're about to have a new witness right now. And that witness is... Follow next. State your name and occupation for the court, please. God, she's angry. Zack did warn me that she is very angry at Sholmes. And also she's French, by the way, so I hope that I don't offend anybody from France. My name is Madame Esmeralda Two Spells. I'm a waxwork artisan. I'm the properties of the Madame Two Spells Museum of Waxwork. You will have to pardon me for working as a testifier. My new exhibit must open very soon. Oh, so he finally gets a statue, does he? Now there are 2 of them in the world. Oh my, What expression is she carving onto that face? A number of days ago, a particular waxwork model was stolen from your museum. Can you confirm this? Oui, that is true. At first, we believe it had been kidnapped. A waxwork model? Kidnapped? Yes, my lord. There was a demand for ransom money left behind by the culprit. However, according to what I have just been told outside the courtroom, that was not the true reason. I understand it was utilized as a substitute for the body of a murder victim. At present, that is no more than conjecture proposed by the defense. This is the victim of the case in question, Mr. Ori Asman. But of course, I know him very well. He's part of my odious personage exhibit. Wait, what? I detest to say what is evident, but Mr. Asman does not resemble the professor at all. I'm gonna have to take good care of this. Yes, but perhaps their faces are very similar. Are you suggesting that we should see now the masked visage of the professor? I have here the key, but it is strictly forbidden to open the lock. This is absurd! Pardon? I don't know what face you've carved into your fancy figure beneath the mask. But clearly it won't be that of the actual killer. Indeed. The man's identity was never made public after all. The trial took place in a closed court. The proceedings were strictly confidential. The man was summarily executed. His identity remains a closely guarded national secret. There is no possible way that a repository of Tawdry exhibits could get its hands on that information. Wait, what? That you say that as how do you say this? Quel dommage. I mean, I don't know. I don't remember. It would seem you are unaware of the Tuspel's principles. What principles? The family Tuspels has always prided itself on sculpting its models à la perfection. Every detail, including the visage, is fashioned with complete fidelity. Et voila! Our principles. There is a well-known legend about the Tuspels waxwork from the time of the French Revolution. A member of the Tuspels family is said to have made a waxwork of the queen who was executed. Oui, that is true. It was a century ago by now. I believe the queen's face was carved in the minutes following her death. Actually, at the guillotine site. Whoa! That's absolutely terrifying. I'm gonna be checking something here, just wanna make sure that it actually... of course. My phone did not pass the message along to the people that I wanted to pass the message along. There it is. I believe the queen's face was carved in the minutes following her death. Actually, at the guillotine site. You are correct. The model is on display still today in the House of Horrors. The Tuspels will stop at nothing to obtain a faithful replica of its subjects. Dear me, somewhat disturbing tenacity of purpose. It is the only way to obtain a truly lifelike representation of the subject. And it has been my family secret for generations. Did you mean to say that beneath that mask? Oui, the true visage of the killer is there.
This is ludicrous! It's out of the question!
The professor spread terror throughout repeating. That's difficult to say for her. I mean, dear lord. Also, how did you know? As a result, the Madame Tuspel's special exhibit remains extremely popular even today. A killer emerging from his own grave. It's a sight to behold. You should come. Ow! I think, madam, it would be beneficial to hear your formal testimony on the matter. No, that was not. You will explain every detail of this macabre model and your personal involvement in its creation. With pleasure. Woo, here we go. The special exhibit in the House of Horrors is based on a rumor that shook society in London. An impression of the visage was taken directly from the corpse in accordance with Turnstile family principles. I enlisted the aid of the gravedigger and cleared a morgue for the head of the cemetery just before the interment. Whoa. I hid myself until he gave me a signal. I was there for a very long time that night. As Donna Bosch, I was very worried that it would be discovered. You did what? The gravedigger? The man sanctioned this. Oui, I will do all that is necessary to achieve the true resemblance my family celebrated for. Nobody else knew. Only the gravedigger. Wilhelm did it too, huh?
So you truly saw it? The face of that monster!
Naturally, I was aware at the time that his identity was a secret. But the spells would not be the spells if we did not insist on absolute fidelity to our sculptures.
I don't believe this.
I myself have seen the special exhibit at your museum, madame. A truly blood-curdling scene in which the murderer is emerging from his own grave. One more person that I want to share this to. I just remembered. Sorry guys, I just really want more people to watch this, and I think I know some people that would like to. And I some people that I know that would eventually spoil me anyway. Oops. I made a mistake. Remove. There it is. Let's hope that he joins in as well. The scene in the depicts was the subject of many rumors in London 10 years ago. I have here a newspaper from the time. The special exhibit was based upon the picture in this article. It was the most detailed account of what happened, as was reported by the eyewitnesses who saw it. I'm having a lot of trouble trying to speak. This is horrible. Maybe she should just drop the attempt to make her French. It was the most detailed account of what happened, as reported by the eyewitnesses who saw it. Was the bound maze to blame for the great blaze? Man rises from the grave. Mr. Trevor's dreadful encounter. Man rises from the grave. That's too absurd for words. The public enjoy absurdity, monsieur. Let's check it. A Logit cemetery just behind the prison on the line of the newly entered Professor Force of his grave cover as blood free. The bullet pierced the resurrected man's. Wait, what? Whoa! Just behind the prison, on the night of that false demon's execution, the newly entered professor forced off his grave cover as he fled free of the air. The young man who witnessed this scene was on the verge of raising a shriek when in the next second a gunshot rang out suddenly from behind. The bullet pierced the resurrected man's chest, whose breath would then still once more. The judge then finally released the scream he had been holding and ran for his life. There was a gunshot here? The university student who experienced this shocking event is Mr. Enoch Trevor, a disciple of science at the University of London and resident of his student dorms. There was a gunshot here! Why hasn't this been mentioned at all? Dear Lord. Matchip Rampage and his phenomenal grip Salfordshire region. Charles Darwin to receive Copley Medal. Really? We are involving now Darwin here? The Great Stink. Parliament is to finally address the full issue. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, issues in the sewers? Okay. Was the bulk mass to flame for the Great Blaze? The theater had been under release to famed magician John Henry Anderson, and there is some speculation that the blame for the fire lies squarely with him for the insistence on holding his spell mask there. Could his magical tricks have played a trick on him? Blah 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 blah. This is not important. But there was a gunshot. That is important. The public enjoy absurdity, sir. This is why I have reproduced the scene as carefully as possible in my museum. And it's a waxwork from that exhibit that was stolen some days before the incident at the Great Exhibition, wasn't it? That is correct. The professor you see before you here. Most possibly. Counsel for the defense. Proceed with the cross-examination. This waxwork links Trevor to the doctor's side. And there has to be some reason for that, which hasn't yet come to light. But I'll find it. I'll get to the bottom of what really happened. I'll prove that Dr. Side and Trevor were in on this crime together. This is gonna be very cool. Okay, so the special exhibit in the House of Horrors is based on a rumor that took place in London. And that rumor would be a 10-year-old tale now, but one that no Londoner would ever forget.
Right. I know just what you're talking about, I think.
Of course, it couldn't be anything else.
Yes, that story will never disappear.
The tale of the condemned killer rising from the dead. That is the central attraction of my House of Horrors. Whoa, this became silent. The rumor was whispered all over the city, and it was like this. It was in Lowgate Cemetery behind the prison in the dead of the night after the execution of the killer. The entire professor slipped back the stone slab covering his tomb and emerged from the grave. A young man who witnessed this felt a scream welling up inside him, but an instant later he heard a grenade-splitting gunshot from over his shoulder. The bullet struck the emergency codes, and he fell motionless once more. The scream finally found its way from the mouth from the young mouth witness, who turned and ran for his life. But wait, who was the other one? Also, this was in the papers. This is a new theme. It sounds very good. The corpse climbed out of his own grave? And then somebody shot him? Who was it? Nobody knows, even today. But remember, it was just a rumor. Perhaps nothing more than a ghost story. The good people of London, they love stories like this. That is why it was in every newspaper across the capital. But was it just a story? I mean, this is exactly the same that can be seen today at the Jewel Museum, isn't it? The special exhibit was modeled on that very illustration. Wait, what? No, that was not it. Well, a while afterwards, the contents of that article were reproduced in every newspaper imaginable. Madame, might I say something? Please go ahead, mademoiselle. When something is described as a rumor, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's entirely made up. I believe that often, rumors contain elements of the truth. I see that people from the East can be just as astute as the people from Europe. Can we be sure, for instance, that the professor's execution was successful? It is not possible for the dead to come back to life. Sorry? 10 years ago, I was there in Lowgate Cemetery after the criminal known as the Professor was killed by hanging. I took a wax impression of his visage from the corpse just before it was interred. So I can assure you, the man was dead. I see. It would certainly appear that the condemned man suffered the intended fate. An impression of the message was taken directly from the corpse in accordance with Duspel's family principles. Oops, I forgot that I was supposed to be set to hold the Reichi. Hold it! Thank you, Madame Duspels. Is that true of every waxwork in your museum then? It is, assuming the subject is dead, of course. Lab subjects have to cooperate in a similar way. I have letters from imprisoned criminals all the time, you know. What sort of letters? When my time comes, please make a waxwork of me. Come, sir. No! The museum is famous, monsieur. To be made into a waxwork is an honor, and for some criminals it's a symbol of status even. Because nothing says hardened criminal better than wax. And it stands to one whale killer in particular that my museum has gained such popularity in London. I refer to the star of the special exhibit, of course, the Professor. Whose form you claim to have captured by taking an impression of from the actual corpse. There are no exceptions to the principles of those spells. I enlisted the aid of the grave digger and carved a mound for the head in the cemetery just before the interment. I'm starting to think of something. What if they change corpses? What if all of this is actually a setup and the corpse is actually one of the victims? Hold it! Surely that's illegal, isn't it? It would seem the proprietress of this repository of novelties was blinded by monetary greed. It had nothing to do with money. The man is part of London's criminal history. That is why I had to sculpt him, to record this history. It is the raison d'etre of the museum's the Spells Museum. Reason of existence, maybe? But if the man was convicted in a closed court and sent for immediate execution, then surely nobody but the members of the judiciary present know the killer's true identity. I assure you, behind that mask is hidden the true face of the Professor.
Do you realize what you're saying? The Professor's identity is a national secret!
I understand. And now that the truth about the special exhibit has been revealed, it must perhaps close.
Of course it will, as will your entire museum if you don't tread very carefully, madame.
That could be another interesting chapter in the history of my family, I think, don't you? So 10 years ago, on the night of the Professor's execution, you took a wax impression of his face from the corpse? Oui, exactamente. God. I hit myself until he gave me a signal. I was there for a very long time that night.
Hold it!
You were there longer than you expected to be? I had some difficulties in capturing the subject's phone correctly. As I removed the mask, the mouth of the cadaver fell open and I had some problems with the chin. God! What? Oh my god! Llévame la chingada, eso estuvo espantoso. Okay. Did I ask? The man had been dead for a short while already, you see. His muscles were relaxing and consequently his genes would not align itself correctly. Ah, God. dear! What a horrible thought! Under normal circumstances, I would have been an assistant with me. However, that night I was alone, and as a consequence, I missed my preferred window of time. What do you mean? When I take the impression of the visage of a cadaver, I always wait until 3 hours after death. Wait. Why? Why 3 hours? Is that amount of time significant? It is because of rigor mortis. Oh, really? Is it so the body can relax a bit? Rigor mortis? Ryonosuke, no! It's the name given to a phenomenon that occurs in recently deceased bodies. As a rule, 3 hours post-death, the muscles in the body begin to stiffen. By approximately 10 hours post-death, the entire body is completely rigid and inflexible. And then from that point on, the muscles slowly start to revert to the relaxed state. The Fed is often used to estimate the time of death when a body is discovered. Wait, what? Well, that was an education. If a seriously scary one. Okay, I actually said the second line myself, not even read it. Because that's terrifying, to be quite honest. As the Mademoiselle says, rigor mortis commences 3 hours after death, and it starts in the jaw. Okay, so it's still recording correctly. Sorry that I have to check so much, but after last time, I'm being scarred by what happened last time with my stream. I see. So that's why you wait. Before that time, the mouth falls open, and it is very difficult to do my work. It's getting hard for me to do my work with all this talk of corpses. I wonder what about that information the corpse just heard from Madame Tussauds spells. I guess it's significant. We were talking about the time. Why didn't she wait this time? The information about rigor mortis that you just shared with us. Do you mind including it in your formal testimony? I believe it could be significant, you see. Of course! I do not mind at all. I can't help feeling that after this latest topic, the atmosphere in the quorum has become extremely grave. This is no time for jokes, Miss Susato. Madame, kindly amend your testimony as discussed. Sir. What is that? It took me a very long time because it was before the onset of rigor mortis. Rigor mortis being the phenomenon you described, whereby the corpse becomes stiff after death. I think you said that it starts at the jaw, about 3 hours post-death. Is that right? Oui, c'est que ça. Of course, the circulation depends a little on the season. I didn't realize a waxwork artisan would be so well versed in the subject. No. That is only elementary knowledge in the field of legal medicine. Wait, what? Well, I had no idea about it, but maybe I wanted me to my ignorance about forensic science. Could I ask my father to give you a very simple primer if you like? No, I think corpses should be your domain. I'm not good with them. Oh dear. I'll do my very best. God damn it, I don't want that. A son of Bosha was very worried that I would be discovered. Hold it! Wait. You say that dawn was approaching? What was the time of day then? Approximately. Well, I could not say. But when I left the cemetery with my utensils on wax, the morning light was becoming visible. The execution took place on 17th June, which had the earliest sunrise of that year. Indeed, light would have been at around 4:40 in the morning. That really is early. The fact is I had very little time, so I finished my work in half an hour.
It was necessary to complete the impression on David before they break, of course. If somebody had discovered me there, it would have been a catastrophe. So I had to hurry.
Is it me or does Mr. Shum seems to be taking shape more quickly now too? You certainly appear to go to extraordinary lengths for your work, madame. I wonder, is what she said just particularly significant? It is significant. I can get it now. Madame, those details about how long it took you to complete the sculpture on the early sunrise, did you include them in your testimony? I believe they may be significant. Yes, we're talking about time. So that means if the job had not been set yet, that would mean that the body was still not in rigor mortis. But why?
Of course, you would like me to. You're quite right, Mr. Naruhodo. It is intriguing. A sunrise at 4 in the morning would be absolutely unimaginable at home, wouldn't it?
That's not quite what I had in time. What I meant by significant. Kindly amend your formal testimony then, madame.
With pleasure, my love.
This is where it becomes weird.
I hurried to finish my work in the half hour before the sunrise, then I left as soon as the corpse was interred.
Hold it! Did you have a reason to believe you might be discovered once the sun came up or something?
I had paid the gravedigger money to keep my little secret, of course.
This is where I'm starting to get. Do we have a date for this?
But with the morning light, I knew that the warden from the prison would commence his patrol of the area.
Couldn't you just have paid off the warden too then?
I had already paid the gravedigger, as I said. You cannot buy the silence of everyone. All the secret is no longer a secret, huh?
The sunrise was at 4:40 a.m. that day, which means that it would have been around 4 when you began your sculpting work.
Oui, that must be correct. That would be when the gravediggers gave me the signal to come out of hiding.
But that's all I have to go on?
What's your feeling, Mr. Naruhodo?
For some reason, Dr. Said went along with Mr. Dreven's plan. But if that's really true, then the professor is the only other thing we know of that links the pair of them. So I feel sure that waxwork must be a clue to this mystery somehow.
In that case, we must use this cross-examination to uncover exactly what it means. Otherwise, the jurors are sure to revert their leanings and the trial will be over.
I agree, but interestingly, uncovering what the professor has to do with all of this means more to Lord Brand 6 than anyone. At least that's the impression I'm getting anyway.
Yes, as do I.
After all, he has a profound connection to the professor as well. Okay. Do we have the autopsy? There it is. It doesn't make sense. She says that it was before rigor mortis. But according to her, she started sculpting at 4 a.m. Then, we have the autopsy, which says that it was at 2:20 p.m. There's absolutely no sense. No, wait. This is Audie Asman's autopsy. Oh my god, what a moron. Wait. Here it is. Death by hanging confirmed at midnight. So that means 4 hours at the very least. That's why it doesn't make sense. Objection! Madame Tuspels! I have here an autopsy report that was filed 10 years ago now. It confirms the death of the professor following his execution at the gallows.
And is that a problem?
I believe it is, because your testimony and a particular detail in the report completely contradict one another.
What? Are you going to explain yourself, my Nipponese friend?
According to her testimony, Madame Tussauds was creating her wax impression just before dawn. And at the time, rigor mortis had not yet set in. Am I correct so far, Madame?
You are, yes.
So she saw the corpse at 4 a.m. 3 hours for rigor mortis. And it was hanging by midnight. By the time that she would be making the sculpture, rigor mortis should have set in 4 hours later. But then we have the gunshot. So that means that the corpse rise up on that night after midnight. And the gunshot that happened was what actually killed him. And now, this is where I'm starting to get so interested. Because the autopsy of Odie Asman reveals that the cause of death is hemorrhage of a wound to the chest that pierced the heart, inflicted by a sharp implement. They could be saying that it was that old corpse, and this is just a very old autopsy report.
Yes. As I said, the stiffness of jaw is the first sign of rigor mortis. 2 to 3 hours after death, the man's chin was limp, so he cannot have been dead for a long time.
But on the other hand, if you look at Dr. Sai's report, it quite clearly states the following. Death by hanging confirmed at midnight, 17th June.
No!
If the professor indeed died at midnight that day, then by the time you were sculpting his face, rigor mortis would already have set in. This is becoming interesting. God, I'm so scared. What does it mean? Okay.
Wait, Jess, you're right. The chin, it will have been completely stiff.
In other words, this report is wrong.
Objection! No coroner makes mistakes when recording the time of death. The bare idea is absurd!
In that case, there's only one possible conclusion. The execution didn't actually take place at the stated time.
Impossible!
God, this is becoming cool as heck.
Order! Gonzo! This is beyond folly! Not only do you indict the author of the report, Dr. Scythe, but you also implicate members of staff at Barclay prison where the execution took place. By heck! Extraordinary! Not in my day! Objection! My learned friend appears to have overlooked one very crucial fact!
What fact?
The professor died that night, without question!
He did. Of course he did. I molded the man's limp jaw with my own hands. There was no objection.
No. Yes, the professor died that night, but that's not the point. But what if he didn't die at the gallows?
Didn't die at... Are you insane? What exactly are you suggesting that happened in that case?
It's almost impossible to believe, but it would explain the link between Dr. Scythe, the professor, and that one other person of interest. I have evidence that will explain exactly what I'm suggesting happened that night.
Counsel, present the evidence at once! Evidence that allegedly explains what really happened on the night of the professor's execution.
The 10-year-old article. What happened that night is written very plainly in this newspaper article. Executed criminal returns in the dead of night at local cemetery.
You're suggesting it was a corpse coming back from death now?
Well, if this article is to be believed, yes. The professor assumed death following his execution emerged from his grave and then was killed again.
Objection! Don't be a fool! That's simply a rumor published by the gutter press!
Can you be certain of that?
Are you serious?
The point is, as the article says, there was a witness to what happened.
My word, yes indeed!
Mas what? The young man who stole into the cemetery by chance that night.
Objection!
Of course there was a witness, the story didn't write itself, but obviously the man made it all up. And in any case, this was 10 years ago now. There would surely be no hope of finding him.
There's something else here. There was somebody had shot that gun.
Objection!
On the contrary, my lord, we all know this witness well.
What? Are you suggesting, Counsel, that you've identified the person in question? That you know who claims to have seen these utterly incredible events take place?
Hey, Perry, how you doing tonight? Sorry, it was my turn to stream. If you start streaming, maybe I'll raid you, but right now, it is my turn as a lawyer. I really like those emotes. I really love the tutorials. Yes, my lord. In fact, you could say that he's right here before my very eyes.
Will substantiate your latest claim now then, Counsel. Who is the alleged witness to this hysteria scene from the cemetery 10 years ago?
Whoops, I spoke with the Van Six on the... You cannot tell me that it's Van Six, isn't it?
Take that!
No, it's not.
Oh, sir, I'm quite staggered by the scene I see before me now, Counsel.
That of a young monk with his eyes
Strangely clearly pointed at a person at random.
You! Yes. God, I actually don't even know where's the camera. There it is.
At least have the decency to open your eyes and face the result of your blunder, for heaven's sake.
Don't worry, I screwed up.
And perhaps you should keep your eyes open when you collapse on the bench like that too. For safety's sake.
I'll bear it in mind.
You will substantiate your latest claim now then, Counsel. Who is alleged witnesses of this staggering scene from the cemetery 10 years ago?
So I guess it's gonna be Odd Yasmin.
Take that!
No.
But they said it was a man.
I guess it has to be the corny side in that case.
Take that!
Ah! This is embarrassing. I mean, what? Am I gonna choose an driver himself?
Take that!
I guess it's. Oh God! I just got it. We have to get his testimony. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. Okay. The man in question is Mr. Enoch Drebber.
Drebber? The previous witness?
A special exhibit in the House of Horrors at Madame Tuspel's Museum of Waxwork recreates that decade-old scene in great detail. The condemned criminal emerging from the grave. Beside the tomb, a young man with a lantern stumbling upon the terrifying sight. I mean, why are they surprised? This is not a revelation, is it? It says there that it was university student. And that young man is a 10-year younger Mr. Enoch Drebber. Wow, Madame Tuspel's unit really is cool.
Order, order, order! Surely not, Counsel. Drebber was there? In Logate Cemetery?
What is all this talk about Mr. Drebber? Is the name significant?
Of course, Madame Tuspel doesn't know, does she? Yes, it's extremely significant, Madame. Your situation is well, in fact.
What situation?
The theft of the Professor Waxwork from your museum some days ago was perpetrated by this very same man.
No! But that would mean...
Madame Tuspel's. It appeared you know the name Enoch Drebber.
Wait. Yes, I know it. but from long ago in the past.
What?
Oh my!
Good gracious! Explain yourself. Tell us everything you know.
Yes, yes, of course. The story of the young man and the terrible sight he witnessed in the cemetery 10 years ago was published in every single newspaper in London and throughout Great Britain. However, in all of the articles, the witnesses were simply described as a certain young man.
What are you talking about? It's right there. Is this an error here? Who experienced this shocking event is Mr. Enoch Grabber. At this point, it says right there. Was this lost? Okay, I guess.
No details were published about his identity. His name was never revealed.
This is a lie.
That is apart from when one newspaper.
Oh. Whoops.
The Daily Circus. It is a paper from which comes the article I have already shown the card.
Oh. I was pointing contradiction that did not exist. You're saying that his full name was only published in that article?
Goodness me, yes, here it is. The university student who experienced this shocking event is Mr. Enoch Grabber, a disciple of science at the University of London and a resident of its student dorms.
I just went ahead too fast.
Unbelievable!
When I read the
articles, I went to meet with the man. His discovery of the condemned criminal coming back to life in the cemetery in the dead of the night would make a perfect exhibit from a House of Horrors. What do you think was the truth of not?
I see. So you want to meet Mr. Grabber in order to sculpt a quarter of the man, did you?
Exactamente. He was a student in science at the University of London in those days. He was just a post-student. I paid him £5 to model for the waxwork.
That's a lot in that time.
And since that time, it has been in my museum to recreate the scene of the terror from the cemetery.
To spell. Yes, to spell. T-U-S-S spell. She presented herself almost as a witch, by the way. So 10 years ago, a young man appealed to the public about an extraordinary event he'd witnessed. A criminal who had been put to death, emerging from his grave in the middle of the night. The public treated his claim as nothing more than an amusing anecdote that was soon forgotten. 10 years later, the same man steals a waxwork model of the executed criminal, ostensibly to use as a body double for the victim in the case we're discussing here today. Even though the waxwork bill is a poor match for the victim, and its face is obscured by a mask. Whoop, there it is. So the question is, why would the man do such a thing? Which brings us to 3 days ago, when the birdcage crashed into the Crystal Tower. If the birdcage had in fact contained not the body of Mr. Asman, but that same waxwork, the coroner from Scotland Yard who investigated Dr. Syed would have noticed immediately. And yet, she submitted this autopsy report for the victim, which the court has seen earlier. Why?
Because the waxwork was that of the professor. Is that what you're saying?
Dr. Syed put her name to a document confirming the death of a condemned criminal who was still alive. A criminal whose apparent resurrection was witnessed by Mr. Grabber. But that misconduct was a deadly secret the coroner would do anything to protect. Which is precisely what Mr. Grabber used that particular waxwork as a body double. My lord, this court must summon Dr. Syed to the stand. The defense is determined to find out exactly how the coroner and Mr. Grabber are connected.
But according to the missive I received this morning through the prosecutor's office, Dr. Syed is unable to participate in these proceedings. That's not the case.
She told us so herself, didn't she?
Flashback.
Lord Van Six won't be summoning me as a witness. Lord Strongheart has forbidden it.
Lord Strongheart?
The Pandora's box you were warned about. It's a professor's case. But please, don't make the mistake of thinking you'll get any information about it out of me.
I'm about to get you, girl. Something happened on the night of that killer's execution 10 years ago. And surely nobody would want to get to the bottom of that more than Lord Van Six. Prosecution calls for the instruction in that music to be scrapped! Or Part 6. The music was issued from the Lord Chief Justice's office.
Objection!
The assigned prosecutor has the final say on policy in any particular trial. In other words, me. Yes. Let Enoch Trevor and Dr. Scythe both take the stand together. Oh boy, this is gonna get juicy. Order. Very well, I will uphold your request. Bailiffs in a subpoena with immediate effect addressed to Dr. Scythe of the Forensic Investigation Team. The woman is compelled to attend on Her Majesty's order. Alright then, Enoch Trevor and Dr. Scythe. If they weren't colluding with one another, this crime could have never been committed. It's a stone's throw away. I can feel it. The truth behind all of this is about to come out. Whoa, the spell is in here. Here we go. Thank you for your attendance at such short notice, Dr. Scythe.
I'm disappointed in you, Lord Van Six. You've completely betrayed the agreed policy of both Scotland Yard and the prosecutor's office.
Betrayal is not in my nature, as long as the truth isn't compromised. If it is, if there's even a hint of wrongdoing, then no matter whom it concerns or disgruntles, then I will pursue the matter to the bitter end, as would any prosecution were he sought. Mr. Trevor? You took the victim's life by means of a machine that you constructed in your workshop. And Dr. Scythe, as the investigating coroner, you were the first on the scene to examine the victim's body. It is the belief of the defense that you collaborated with each other and were both complicit in this crime.
And where is your evidence?
At present, we have no definitive evidence, but we do have a very significant clue.
What are you talking about?
Ben 6? What is it about Ben 6? I'm talking, of course, about the waxwork. This model of the killer known as a professor who was sentenced to death 10 years ago.
You don't need to tell me. I witnessed the man's execution with my own eyes and officially pronounced him dead.
That remains to be seen.
Is that so?
According to newspapers report from the time on the night following his execution, the killer came back to life.
Don't waste my time.
And the sole witness to that mysterious event was you, Mr. Trevor, wasn't it? Okay, robotic boys, this is gonna be interesting. If what you saw in the graveyard that night 10 years ago wasn't some chilling fiction but reality, it would make you privy to a very great secret of Dr. Scythe's. A secret so profound, compelled the coroner to agree to collaborate in your evil scheme, in fact. Mr. Trevor, tell the court. Tell everyone the truth of what you saw that night in Lowgate Cemetery.
So he was a student who saw it.
You can't see the resemblance actually, can you? With the many Maranto spells, I mean?
Surely he's not going to claim that's really what he saw, especially not after all these years. He was a research student at the University of London, was he?
And a bit too clever for his own good, if you ask me. What an interesting twist. When at the time, not one person would take me seriously. Yet now, here we are, 10 years later, and suddenly my story matters. And in a court of law too. Very well then, if everyone so wishes. Let's be frank, I'll tell you the truth of what happened that night, for what it's worth. He's nervous. I'm pretty sure that she's the shooter. He killed the corpse.
So, Mr. Trevor, your testimony, please, about the events of that night. 10 years ago, please. You will tell the court exactly what you stumbled across in Lowgate Cemetery.
Yes, of course, as you wish. He's so fun to voice. The reason I was in Lowgate Cemetery at all 10 years ago was for a spot of moonlighting, shall we say. Yes, the illustration in that newspaper article was based on what I witnessed that night. But thinking back now, I realized that I never actually saw the professor. Afterwards, I was visited by a young woman who sculpted a model of me from wax. Then I gave up on my dream of becoming a scientist, and it was all because of that newspaper article.
Wait a minute! You're claiming you didn't actually see the professor now?
Of course, you'll have to be as scrupulous if you believe a corpse could come back from the dead.
But so you're saying this article is...
Not worth the paper it's printed on? I think that would describe it perfectly, yes.
If the details in this article aren't true, it nullifies your argument for why Mr. Trevor and Dr. Sad would have been working together.
So he's strengthening himself to cripple my argument? Tell me, witness. You claim to have been in the cemetery on some auxiliary business. Can you elaborate?
That's right, grave robbing to be precise. As you know, Lowgate Cemetery is at the rear end of Parklife Prison. So, among students at the university, it had a reputation for being haunted by the ghost of condemned convicts.
Grave robbing, you say?
Yes, examining fresh corpses to sell is reasonable lucrative. Of course, I never laid a finger in any valuables buried with the dead.
So you were one of the so-called resurrectionists, a particularly unpleasant scourge on society.
So this is actually something that happened a lot, right? Actually, my fellows and I went by another name. The Repurposers.
That is quite beyond my pale. You would by divine retribution, sir.
Yes, well, I think I suffered retribution enough. The Daily Circus eventually unearthed my name and put it in print. It caused me a great many headaches. In the end, I had to leave the university. That was the only paper with the bad grace to identify me unambiguously I made at.
I see. Out of interest, who drew the illustration for this article?
Yes, that was the reporter who exposed me. He sketched that right in front of me as I described the scene. Are you sure?
Wait a minute! Oh, Asman? Oh, wait a minute. Don't we have that?
Where's the contract? Where's the contract?
The student was Odious Asman. Okay. So you wanted him dead.
Obviously, as time ticked out, I bitterly regretted what I done. Claiming to have seen something I never truly saw. Foolish. Very foolish.
Well, counsel for the defense, you may proceed to the cross-examination now. At once, my lord. God, that was so... Holy. So the victim was the one that revealed your name. Is that your motive? I also cannot believe it, Perry. Okay, so he was moonlighting. By moonlighting, you mean grave robbing, do you? Surely you only need to look at the graveyard scene and my appearance to gauge the answer to that. Okay, so this is the three people that I'm gonna have to pay attention to. The lantern and Spade. But who on earth would want to buy a dead body?
Any major hospital.
Hospital?
In order to better understand the human body, the study of anatomy is crucial to medical science. But there isn't a hospital in the world that has enough specimens to work with.
That's terrifying to think about.
Well, obviously they can openly express an interest in obtaining more by dubious means.
What do you do nowadays with those? Because I know that that's a problem. As aspiring scientists, we young research students had no money to work with, as I'm sure you can imagine. So we made surreptitious arrangements with a hospital via some of our medical student acquaintances. We would never take anything of value from the graves. It was all for the furtherance of science, you see. That's what we all told ourselves every time we strolled the graveyard at night, spade in hand.
You realize body snatching is a serious crime. If you were caught, you could expect the gravest of consequences.
We students were caught between the hammer and the anvil, and needed funds for research.
Professor Hairpin said exactly the same.
I'm quite speechless at the apparent levity with which Jupiter revealed this abhorrent behavior.
Well, if you wanted to know why I was there at Lowgate Cemetery, that's the reason. But I never expected it to end the way it did, that I regret to this day. Yes, the illustration in that our newspaper was based on what I witnessed that night.
The strange happening at Lowgate Cemetery, which you now deny?
Not entirely. I ran to fetch the police at the time, you know. I was shaking like a leaf, but they didn't believe a word of it. In fact, I was very nearly arrested myself.
So you went to the papers instead?
I started big with the London News, but unsurprisingly, they didn't want to know either. In the end, it was reporters from the Gossip Rags, the Gutter Press, that came to get my story. And it spread like the plague through the capital as gossip-hungry Londoners lapped up the tale.
The story was in every single paper at the time, with the exception of some broadsheets.
And yet only 2 or 3 of them actually interviewed me personally. Most of the accounts turned out to be very interpretative of ghost stories.
What about the article in the Daily Circus?
That particular journalist found me at my dormitory. I don't know how, but he discovered my name. So I recounted to him exactly what had happened that night.
Wait, how did you... Dr. Scythe is a murder... I'm pretty sure that Dr. Scythe is the person that shot the corpse. I'm pretty sure that in order to corner you, he sold the information to all the Asmen. But okay, here we go. And from your description, he drew this illustration?
Precisely, that's how I learned that the condemned man was the infamous professor. Because the reporter told me so. I had no idea myself, you see.
Newspapers reporters are wont to snoop around in matters that don't concern them. So the scene portrayed in the illustration is accurate then.
I guess that is actually what happens with Laura Hart. Well,
thinking back now, I realized that I actually saw the professor at all.
What are you talking about?
I think I explained already, didn't I? Lowgate Cemetery is at the rear of Barclay Prison. So it was renowned among ghost students at the university for being haunted by the ghosts of condemned convicts. For some absurd reason, I was scared of the graveyard at night. And as a result, I'm only too willingly to believe that nonsense about the dead coming back to life.
But you said you actually saw it!
I said what I'd seen in my mind's eye. After all, Resurrection is impossible, isn't it? You'd have to be unhinged to think otherwise. Unless, of course, you have some evidence that proves I encountered the professor that night. I don't know. Is there any material evidence that could show he really did see the professor?
If we have anything at all, Mr. Naruhodo?
I know. I need to present it against that irritatingly striking statement of his. The point is, that night was a pivotal moment in my life. So I need to get something else. Soon afterward, I was visited by a young woman who sculpted a model of me from wax. That young woman being Madame Tussauds, of course. Precisely, I must say I didn't expect to run into her again like this 10 years later.
As I have explained, I went by the name published in the article and so I found the money.
Yes, the article in the Daily Circus, I think you said. I was a poor student with barely a penny to my name at the time. And the young lady put £5 in front of me.
So you readily consented to having a waxwork of yourself made and get permission for it to be put on display?
I did. I should sell what little I had to sell, I concluded.
Ah, I remember now. I purchased something else from you that day, n'est-ce pas?
Did you? I can't say I remember. It's gonna be the mask. What was it, madame?
This camera.
Oh my god! Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. The camera, the camera! Of course!
And if I remember correctly... Okay, so the plate was removed, but... Where was it that am I supposed to open this? Here? There it is. The blood in the camera. Hey, a robot and a witch? This. Yes, this is very weird. This is a very weird scenario.
His camera.
Ah. Oh yes, I made a point of taking it with me wherever I made an excursion into any cemetery.
You took a camera with you, sir. To what end?
To record the details of the bodies I disinterred. But I had no intention of ever visiting a graveyard again after that night, so I sold it.
I see.
But I still have it, monsieur. It is a part of the special exhibit in my House of Oz. I am very meticulous about such details. It is a Tussauds way. It would seem then that this is the very camera Mr. Trevor took with him to look at cemetery on the night in question.
Yes. Interesting. Let me see if I already have it updated here. When the lens is extended, dark staining is visible on the pillows. Yeah, that's blood. That's definitely blood. And he had it with him. Okay. And I gave up on my dream of becoming a scientist, and it was all because of that newspaper article. This article, you mean? Published in the Daily Circus. Oh, this is basically a circus. Yes, somebody informed the dean that it was my name that appeared in the article, and carelessly let slip that night after night I was digging up graves, hardly a model student, you might say. The university's reputation was scrappily defiled, and I was expelled as a result.
Mon Dieu, I had no idea.
And having been run out of the university, you found employment as somewhat specialist trade.
You combined your knowledge of science with knowledge of stage magic to create various experimental machines intended to demonstrate never-before-seen technology. And you use those deceptive machines to trick the government and private investors into giving you money. Professor Albert Herring was just your latest victim, wasn't he? Whatever are you talking about? I have no recollection of doing anything of the sort.
What's Trevor up to? Why would he suddenly change his tune and recount his claim? I wonder if perhaps it's because his circumstances have changed now.
What circumstances?
Well, if he admits to having seen the professor emerging alive from his grave 10 years ago, it will expose a secret in Dr. Scythe's past that she would desperately want to hide.
Yes, of course! If Trevor and Dr. Scythe are working together now, then if Trevor were to betray her, there would be no reason for her to continue to cooperate. In that case, there's only one way to turn around it. I have to prove he really did see it. Prove he really did see the Professor's corpse coming back from the dead as he originally claimed.
Yes, Mr. Naruto, exactly.
Okay, so I have to present the camera, but where? So, I wonder if I press this. This is the part where he actually asked for the evidence of this. Can I actually present it during that argument now? Okay, so no, it's gonna be in the phrase.
Objection!
Whoa! Okay. This is a very difficult case. Okay. Okay, so now that I have this information, what happens if I check the blog? Maybe the dialogue becomes different? It doesn't. So now what? Okay, there's nothing here, there's nothing here. How do I prove all of this? What about the gunshot? What should I... Whoa! This was drawn based on what he said. It's clearly here. I wonder if I can present this.
Objection!
No. And I lost the case again. Ah, this is hard. This is my second loss in this game. In this case.
Guilty! Guilty! Guilty!
Guilty.
Guilty!
Kill me!
I'm so embarrassed about this. So embarrassed. Oh god, now what? Retry from the scene. Whoa. So is everything updated by now? Or do I have to repress everything? Because that would be very annoying. Oh no. I have to repress everything? Yep. At the very least, I have to repress this one. Hey, there.
Hold it!
Are you kidding me, Perry? I know that I dropped the coffee today, but what do I like more? Oh god. I think that my pride makes me prefer to drop the coffee than to actually lose a case here. This is very embarrassing to me, you know. Oh my god. So, let's see. Okay, so this is definitely true. There's stuff here that I need to think about. Okay. I admit it, that was very good. It was based on what I witnessed that night. Thinking back now, I realized that I never actually saw the professor at all, though. And afterward, I was visited by a young woman who scolded at me from I gave up my dream of becoming a scientist, and it was all because of that newspaper article. So this means one thing. This is what he saw. Exactly as he's supposed to have seen it. Except the mask. Except the mask! Where's the mask? Is it actually the same? Of course, it is not this, and this not this. So I think that right now, everything that comes to the explosion at the Great Exhibition is not related to this. So this mask is very, very different to what I expected. Oh my god! This is a difficult one. Did I present this? I'm gonna try it.
Objection!
It is! No, it is not. This is a hard one. I don't actually know where's the contradiction. So now that I have this piece of information and this new evidence, maybe I should just press again.
Hold it!
Lantern the spade. Hospitals take corpses. Nothing here is actually important right now. But snatching is a crime. Okay, so this is definitely not important. Perfect. Let's stop from this one. This was based on what I saw. Okay, so he found him. He discovered your name. And he drew the illustration. It's accurate. Is it not?
Hold it!
So he says he didn't see the professor at all? How can you say that? Am I missing something here? I mean, he's saying that the article is a lie. He's saying that the camera is a lie. Wait a minute. Could it be?
Objection!
No, it's not. God, this is frustrating. Oh my god. How do you prove that he did see the body? Could it be? Should I just point out at the contract? They are the same thing. This sounds too much of a long shot.
Objection!
No, it's not that. God, I'm stuck. I have never been this stuck. You never saw the professor at all. That is supposed to be a huge lie. How do I prove it? This camera is definitely the key for this. But how?
Hold it!
God, I'm so scared. Maybe I need... Okay, so we know why he's lying. Oh God, this is frustrating.
Hold it!
Publishing the Daily Circus. Somebody informed him that it was my name that appeared in the article. Carelessly let slip that night after night. I was digging up grave, hardly a model student, you might say. I was expelled as a result. And you, I had no idea. And having been run out of university, but I'm becoming somewhat specialist. Great. So, yes, this. Why is this thing? Oh my God! Holy, 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 holy! This game has really amped up on the difficulty now. Okay, let's see. A monocle with a black glass. Is this in any way related to this? No, it's not. Oh no. I have the camera. I think that I checked everything around the camera. He buys the camera. We have the dark stains. Maybe we should think of it. What is it? And the bellows just here. There seem to be very dark stains. You're right. Looks like blood, actually. Oh, my. There's something about. But this opens nothing. And what happened with the picture? God, this is annoying. Nothing here speaks anything about this. Known about the Royal Society. Wait. I want to cheat. Wait, what? No. Okay, so what happened with the autopsy report? Death by hanging. Tactic. You're running the professor. Then we have. I don't think that there's anything else that I could try here. Pretty sure I checked on everything. I'm not really sure. I have been stuck in the past, but I think that I have tried everything now. So, he was of course moonlighting. Yes. And the illustration was based on what he witnessed. It's not the papers, not the mask, the camera. Think. Oh my god. There's something here that makes no sense. I'm so tempted to just let the game tell me. I don't want to.
Hold it!
I wonder.
Excuse me.
Dr. Scythe? What? You were clearly just looking to talk about something.
Your jet
Wait, what?
Your jet black Japanese hair.
Pardon?
It made me wonder if perhaps your head was filled with equally jet black Indian ink. And that the only way to know for sure would be to cut your head open and see.
Whoa.
That's what I was thinking.
Alright. Mental note in black Sumi ink. Never pursue Dr. Scythe again.
Mr. Naruhodo again made some be intimidated.
Oh god. I wonder. There. I want to see what happens if I pursue.
Excuse me.
Dr. Drebber, is something wrong? Mr. Drebber?
It would appear his only answer is that rather bewitching mechanical wiggle.
You could only have just said no. I'm stuck. I'm so stuck, I don't know where to go here. I don't want to, but at this point... We know it's not the camera.
Objection.
If I don't find an answer in the next hit, I'm just gonna look for the answer this time, but I'm just gonna be so embarrassed about this.
Objection.
Are you... What? Okay. Okay. Sorry, Mr. Driver, but I don't believe that. Don't believe what?
Your latest claim.
You did see the professor on that night 10 years ago. I don't know how this one escaped me. I didn't present the newspaper to that. I am going to have a freaking aneurysm right now. Oh my god. This is so embarrassing. You did see the professor on that night 10 years ago. Oh dear. We seem to be at odds, but I was there and you were not. I know what I didn't see. The illustration with this article was drawn based upon what you told the journalist that you witnessed. A figure emerging from a tomb, wearing an iron mask. Yes, when the killer was tried 10 years ago, it was decided in the close court ruling that the man would wear the mask to hide his identity. It wasn't to be removed even during his execution and subsequent burial. Not even the prison wardens were to see the man's face. Obviously, the provision of this mask was not public knowledge. So, Mr. Trevor, as you've just heard, a lowly student of the University of London certainly wouldn't have known about the condemned man's mask. They didn't remember that the mask was a secret. So unless you'd actually seen the professor that night, it's inconceivable that the artist would have included the mask in that illustration.
Order, order! Well, Mr. Trevor?
It's a bile scene, isn't it? If you look closely. And as I've already been at pains to point out, I was utterly petrified. Which is why I had it in my head that I'd seen such a blood-curdling sight. But afterwards I came to my senses and realized that I'd been mistaken.
You're still saying you didn't see it? If you're so stubbornly sticking to that story, witness, then amend your testimony to explain exactly how you think your eyes deceived you.
Of course, only too happy to oblige.
Can't believe it! He's still not going to concede the point!
Here we go, finally a step forward. What I in fact witnessed was a fellow grave robber at work.
Hold it!
A fellow grave robber? What are you talking about?
Well, I wasn't the only one busy at the cemetery that night, you know, other body snatchers were at work. Of course, when I saw one emerging from the hole he'd dug, my heart very nearly stopped. But that's the terrifying sight I actually saw, you see.
You're claiming it was just another student on equally insalubrious business as yourself.
Many of the medical students would wear masks, metal masks to protect them from bacteria during dissections. Clearly the fellow was using such a mask to protect his anonymity. Wouldn't you say?
Objection!
But there's more to the story, isn't there? The article goes on to say, in the next second a gunshot rang out suddenly from behind. The bullet pierced the resurrected man's chest, whose breath then stilled once more. We might assume that Sexton discovered the miscreants at work perhaps, and fell upon one of them? If the gravediggers had shot someone in the cemetery, I think it might have been rather big news, my lord. Oh, yes, well.
I can only assume it was an embellishment bolted on later by the reporter.
An embellishment?
As I explained earlier, most of what the newspapers published about those events was fabricated nonsense. Journalists had a great time fashioning into a horrifying ghost story.
So now you're saying there was no gunshot?
That's right, yes, I'm afraid so.
Guys, I'm very sorry about how embarrassing that was. I'm pretty sure that I was there for almost half an hour. And that made me sweat bullets, because I know that you're here to have some good story, but dear lord, that was very annoying to deal with. How come that I had to present the freaking newspaper to what he's saying that didn't happen? So that's a contradiction. But the mask is a secret. How did I forget that the mask was a secret? I mean, they have been talking about the mask. Everybody.
I mistakenly thought I'd seen a corpse coming back to life and then fled the scene. That's really all that happened.
Okay, so now I know what to do.
Hold it! Objection!
There it is.
Strange. Excuse me.
Madame Tussauds. And take it out on Mr. Schultz. Ouch.
Oh la la, pardon. I was lost in my thoughts.
Would it be fair to say that Mr. Trevor's last remark was significant to you in some way?
I thought it was a little strange, that is all. How Monsieur Devil could claim this now?
If you don't mind me saying, madam, what are you talking about?
Well, when I met you 10 years ago at your university dormitory, you recounted to me about your adventures in the cemetery, no? Including the gunshot.
Stop!
You might want to watch your tongue, you know.
Objection.
This is getting good, this is getting good, this is getting good.
Have a care, Trevor. There's no way to speak. That's no way to speak to a lady.
Please, Madame Tussauds, carry on.
Of course. According to what Monsieur Devil told me at the time, he did hear a gunshot from behind him, and the bullet hit the condemned man.
I said nothing of the sort.
No, you were very explicit about the details. About the mask that the figure was wearing. And the blood that splattered over you when he was shot.
The camera! Finally! Oh my god!
Enough! Shut up, woman! You're making all this up. That will do. Mr. Trevor. Yes. You refute the account just given to by the Madame Tussauds. I have no recollection of ever saying those things.
Come on, do you really expect us to believe you? Control yourself, Counselor. I will not permit baseless accusations in my courtroom. Right. Under the circumstances, I think it best that you supplement your testimony with a statement to clarify your position as this witness.
Very well.
There was no gunshot from behind me at all, nor any splatter by the blood. Yet Madame Tussauds has testified that you told her about both of those details.
Not true. I said nothing of the sort.
10 years have passed. Without material evidence to the contrary, you have no grounds on which to question the witness's word. Tell me, Madame Tussauds.
Wait,
What exactly did Mr. Trevor say about the blood that apparently splattered on him?
alas, this is what he told me. All of a sudden, he heard a very long gunshot from behind his back. The bullet hit the figure.
Oh god, perfect. A bot. Give me a second, give me a second. I'm just gonna delete the bot. Okay. There it is. Oh boy. Much better. Close. Okay. What is that?
The bullet hit the figure who was emerging from the tomb in the middle of the chest in his heart.
One dreadful sight after another. In the heart.
And since Monsieur Devil was at the time facing towards the condemned man, the blood splayed from the wound and spread out his body. That is what he told me.
So, not an experience you would ever forget, is it?
Precisely, but I didn't forget it. Because, as I've already said, it never happened in the first place.
He's clearly lying. Only had some evidence to prove it.
We can't let him win, Mr. Aruhiro. Then we mustn't overlook a single detail, no matter how small.
So now we have it. Now I can present this. Where's the camera?
Objection.
There it is! Mr. Trevor, do you remember this camera?
But that is the camera from that fateful night.
Yes, we borrowed it from the House of Horrors. It's a camera you took with you to the cemetery that night, Mr. Trevor. And is that supposed to be significant? This kind of camera is rarely seen on our homeland, so my colleague and I were keen to examine it closely. We noticed that the lens had set forwards at the end of some bellows. Like this.
Hold it!
What's that? There, just on the bellows! It looks like darker red stain.
That's right. It is a rather conspicuous mark here on the bellows, in fact.
Good lord! Are you suggesting?
Yes, my lord. Would appear to be a spatter of blood.
Something that could be confirmed with a simple chemical test, isn't that right, Dr. Sai? It would be difficult to determine if it was human blood, and not the blood of some animal. But yes, the test whether or not it's blood at all is simple enough.
Yeah, Zack, and believe me, he got me stuck for almost half an hour. I proposed to Madame that Madame Duspel's testimony was correct, and that on the night in question 10 years ago, you were spattered with blood from the gunshot wound. Well, and that furthermore, you really did witness the condemned prison professor emerging from his tomb. You're not gonna believe it, but I got stuck in the fact that he says that he didn't see the professor at all, and I showed the newspaper. I had forgotten that the mask was supposed to be a secret. There's simply no way you could have forgotten such a traumatic experience. In other words, the only explanation is that you're trying to hide the fact that you saw the professor that night.
Objection!
But why? Why would he want to do that?
Well, not for his own gain, it would seem.
Or who's dead? Who could he benefit?
Mr. Trevor is obviously lying in order to protect somebody.
My goodness, he's shielding someone?
Which one are you looking at? Yes, my lord. And clearly... Yes, I also like Confess the Truth from this series. It's someone who doesn't want the truth about the professor coming back to life to be exposed.
Well, counsel, who is it then? Who is this witness trying to protect by lying about what he saw that night?
Scythe.
Take that!
The obvious answer is Dr. Scythe.
Scythe? Whatever do you mean?
Imagine if the convict who's been sentenced to death was not in fact killed. Imagine if that was to come to light. What are you insinuating? And imagine if the convict in question was the country's most hated mass murderer. If it was the professor, that would be an unprecedented scandal.
Objection!
This is beyond a joke! Need I point out that the dead cannot come back to life? What you're suggesting would mean that execution never actually happened!
Yes. And that is exactly what it would mean.
Objection!
Once a man is sent to the gallows, he hangs. No one could escape, not in Great Britain!
Objection!
But the fact is, there was a witness to the fact that the man did escape his hanging.
That were really true, counsel, the implication of misconduct would not stop at the supervising coroner. It would change the honor of the entire judiciary from the ground up.
Oh my god! She's the coroner, but they were supposed to execute him. And somebody had to confirm that. There were supposed to be officers, there were supposed to be coroners, there were supposed to be judiciary people that verified that the sentence would be carried out. Oh my god. And it's exactly because of those monumental repercussions that Dr. Scythe consent to any demand made of her by someone who threatened to expose the secret.
even if that meant being complicit in a crime. You mean? I mean that Dr. Scythe wasn't collaborating in Mr. Trevor's wicked scheme. She was coerced into collaborating in order to protect her decade-old secret. She switched the body of Mr. Asman with a waxworm model and fabricated the autopsy report. Ah! Hello, Leggy! Lord Von Six? Pray forgave my freshly filled hallowed chalice and a whole raft of other discourtesies now! And it's me. It's just the sort of tall-tale Londoners who would enjoy, I grant you, executing killer rising from the dead, a Scotland Yard cover-up, a conspiracy at the highest levels. Sorry, Perry. I actually was able to continue. I didn't die a second time, but I'm in one health. Actually, I believe you. I just realized that I lost a lot of frames. I wonder how much I lost, because it said here that I lost 8% of my whole stream. That's very embarrassing. So let me ask you one thing. What's that? If the condemned man really did emerge from his tomb that night, only but shot in the chest, who pulled the trigger? And disposed of him forever? Well, I have no idea at the moment.
We have too little information to work that out at present, I think.
I couldn't agree more. The Old Bailey is no place for wild fantasies. Oh. Oh, wait. Am I back online? Am I back online? Yeah, I am back online. Oh my god, but I lost everyone in here.
Okay, that was very bad. Let's try to refresh the chat and everything. I'm back online? Yep, I am. Oh god, this is so embarrassing. I really need to recover my network. I need to improve my network. Dear Lord. I don't know if everybody is back here. That was very embarrassing. I hate my network. But whatever. I think that I just want to finish this because we are so close to the ending. It would be very bad if I didn't finish it because this feels like it's so close to the truth. I would have hated for this to just completely get screwed over. So I'm not really so sure how much was lost over here, but I could see that I was completely disconnected for quite a long time. I hate my network. I really am so angry about this, and it was 25% of my frames got lost in. Dear Lord, that means I don't even know how long it. Dear Lord. Okay. So, going back to the action, I'm so happy that this is going to be eventually uploaded to YouTube, and also that was very embarrassing. You're gonna see my panic on my... Dear Lord, this stream has been a mess, now I think about it. First, I spent over half an hour trying to find what proves that Trevor actually did see the corpse. And now, I get completely disconnected for quite a while. Yeah, I'm embarrassed. But okay. Okay, let's continue. And guys, really, thank you for coming back. The Old Bailey is no place for wild fantasy. The network is slow, but we're so close. I mean, I don't want to quit. So my network is kind of slow, but we're so close and I'm recording it anyway, so maybe the YouTube video can finish the case. And that way I can keep continuing here and just trying. God, so embarrassed about this. And the network is still choppy. But okay. Take a breather. Like Naruto. The Old Bailey is no place for wild fantasies. And have you considered these, my learned Nipponese friend? Still recording, perfect. Consider what? Did you realize just what a dangerous endeavor it would be to coerce this woman into such criminal activity? It's tantamount to declaring war on the entire British force and judiciary.
Why? Hard to imagine any sum of money being offered for research could warrant it.
To rely on some stage deception when so much is at stake would be madness. Well, I suppose. And this was no petty crime either. The victim was murder. A man who'd already invested money in the venture and would be instrumental in future profits too.
Yes, I had no reason to kill Mr. Asman at all.
You did have a reason.
Or are you forgetting that his death results in me receiving not a single penny? The court is already aware of the contract between myself and the victim, you know?
There's a contract, that's very true. The motive for this case runs deep, though. I can feel it. This entreats to force the head of the forensic investigation team to cooperate at its stream.
Especially for a government grant he had no guarantee of receiving in the first place.
If the research grant was the aim, taking Mr. Asman's life would have made no sense anyway. Which means Mr. Trevor's motive wasn't the money at all. He was just trying to kill Mr. Asman. But why? What was his motive then?
Your time is up, my learned friend. I'd say you have one last chance before the jury loses patience with this charade.
Charade.
Let's see if you can back up your heady proposal, shall we? How do you explain why this engineer would throw all caution to the wind and threaten his own country?
At this point, I'm not prepared to listen to more of this outlandish conjecture without proof. The council, present your evidence. All right. Who exactly was Mr. Asman to Trevor? There's a connection there that no one's seen yet. Are you having issues with the network, or is that old man because you also know what's going on? Okay. Okay, got it. And I'm going to have to present 2 pieces of evidence to show what it is. 2 pieces of evidence. Perfect. You just gave me the answer, Yonosuke. Thank you very much. Yes, my lord. The evidence that establishes a motive and explains why the witness wanted the victim's death is right here.
Take that!
It's the newspaper article, my lord. That was written 10 years ago, and every detail has been examined already. What can it possibly tell us?
That riddle should never have been written. It's typical Galley Press nonsense that means nothing.
Yes, on its own, it isn't particularly significant. However, when considered alongside another piece of evidence, it will completely explain your motive for wanting Mr. Asman dead.
What other evidence?
Counsel, will you present your supplementary evidence with a delay? The evidence which, when cross-referenced with the newspaper article, establishes a motive for the death. Where's the contract? Where's the contract? Where's the contract? Where's the contract? There's it.
Take that!
It's this contract, my lord. ¡Yeah! ¡Volvemos! Hasta cierto punto. La red sigue un poquito lenta, pero quiero acabar el caso. Mr. Trevor, this is a contract you signed with Mr. Asman.
Yes, that's right. The very document, in fact, that proves I had no reason to kill the man.
No, I'm afraid not.
What?
There's something very significant that this newspaper article and the contract have in common.
Really?
And it's that common link that shows very clearly why you were determined to kill Mr. Ori Asman.
It seems that the fate has uncovered something the rest of us have missed. So, my learned friend, point out what these 2 pieces of evidence have in common. Where exactly is the link between the newspaper article and the contract?
The signature.
Take that!
What these 2 pieces of evidence have in common is a signature.
A signature?
I knew this from a long time ago. Actually, Zach, as soon as I saw the article and I saw the signature, I was like, wait. And Perry can prove it because he actually was here when I realized what was going on. The signature in the illustration that accompanies the 10-year-old article and the signature on the contract belongs to the same person.
What?
As the cover has aired, this illustration was drawn 10 years ago by the newspaper reporter who found Mr. Trevor and interviewed him about his ordeal. If you look closely, the reporter's signature can be seen in the bottom right corner of the drawing. And if you look at the contract here, which was signed between the witness and the victim last year, you can clearly see Mr. Asman's signature at the bottom.
Let me see now. Good lord, yes, they're identical.
In short, the journalist who drew the illustration and wrote the article published about Mr. Trevor 10 years ago was the victim of this case, Mr. Ori Asman. hilarious.
Objection!
But explain to the court why! Why would that constitute a motive for the witness to murder Asman?
Well, if you think back, you'll remember that Mr. Trevor talked about that article in his testimony.
Rape Robin, you say?
Yes, I determine fresh corpses to sell is reasonably lucrative.
It's quite beyond the pale. You wouldn't buy the pain retribution, sir.
Yes, well, I think it's offered retribution enough. The Devil Circus eventually entered my name and put it on print. It caused me great many headaches. In the end, I had to leave the university. That was the only paper with the bad grades in it for me, and obviously I'm that.
And then he gave up on his dream of becoming a scientist. Because of the newspaper article. At the time, you were a student of the University of London who dreamed of becoming a scientist. However, a single newspaper article changed your entire life.
So Mr. Asman used to be a newspaper journalist, didn't he?
He did, my lord. In fact, it's a widely held belief that Mr. Asman managed to position himself as the heart of this criminal network thanks to the many dubious connections he made during his time as reporter. So you had to give up on your dream and then leave the university. You lost everything. Eventually you found yourself working in the field of science, but only in the shadows. All because of that article. Written by Mr. Asman.
Enough!
What do you have left?
Stop this endless dribble about my life.
What?
Explain yourself, Mr. Trevor!
Yes, it's true, I had to leave the university as a result of that article. But it was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
What do you mean? This is not the only thing, right?
Almost every student of science in the faculty was too poor to actually conduct any research. But they struggled on with their hypotheses anyway. We all did. Only to have them taken by vultures. Sooner or later, you knew your ideas will be stolen and patented by some wretch or other after all.
Good gracious.
Making a name for yourself as a scientist in a climate like that was a miracle only a select few geniuses could ever hope to achieve. And suddenly I wasn't one of those geniuses, so it was hardly a wrench.
You did it for others? This is not yours, right? Wait! Did they repeal the Grape Robin thing and affected everyone around you?
Being forced out of the university because of Logan was the best thing that could have happened to me.
Objection!
Mr. Trevor, did you genuinely believe that?
Of course I do. Who's better placed to know whether or not I possess a talent for science than me?
I'm sorry to say that your words don't ring true at all.
How dare you?
And I have evidence to prove it.
How are you in a position to say anything about me? I don't know you from Adam. Fine, if you think you have evidence, go ahead. Show it. What could you possibly have to disprove the idea that I was happy to leave university because I lack talent?
You didn't
Like talent.
You have a freaking science trophy because you were too smart. Do you remember this, Mr. Trevor? I found it in your workshop.
Is that a Royal Society trophy for excellence in science? What exactly is this trophy, Council?
It's the greatest honor that can be bestowed to a young scientist, my lord. We're gonna break you completely mentally and emotionally, aren't we?
There is no higher accolade. It recognizes emerging talent and promises a bright future. Good gracious.
Your prospects for the future were excellent. Weren't there, Mr. Trevor? Because even then you were a genius in your field. But you lost everything. You had no more future. Your talents would go to waste. All as a result of this one newspaper article. I don't know when you realized who Mr. Asman was. But when it dawned on you that he was the same journalist who 10 years ago ruined your life, it's abundantly clear that you had no intention of forgiving the man. That was different. The truth is, finally, he's going to fold. He's not? Wait, who was it? Scythe? Of course. Of course, this woman.
Fine. Clearly this has run its course now.
What?
I admit it. All of it.
What?
What are you doing?
It's exactly as the Japanese man said. I was coerced into going along with this man's plot. I murdered the victim. On the condition that he kept my dirty secret from 10 years ago.
No! Good Lord! Oh my god. Randomly out of nowhere? Dr. Sai, do you realize what you're saying, woman?
It's all true. That day, when I arrived at the Crystal Tower and saw the birdcage, my heart nearly stopped beating. That memory from a decade ago, that I'd done my best to bury deep inside me. It was the professor again staring me in the face. And then, before I had a chance to react, I noticed something else. There was a note tucked inside the model's tag.
Dr. Sai, you will go along with my plan. From someone who knows the truth about what really happened 10 years ago.
All the instructions were there in the note. Every detail was meticulously written out. I had no choice but to do what I'd said. It made the necessary alterations to the scene and fabricated the autopsy report as instructed. There was really no other choice. It had to be done to protect the judiciary. I can only apologize now.
This is not over, is it?
Because somebody killed the professor.
The actual dead man.
Why on earth would you buckle now?
Well, there's no point trying to hide it anymore, is there? I would have done anything to stop it coming out. Even collaborated in murder. But the great lie about that execution 10 years ago has been exposed. Whatever happens, I'm finished.
But then, Mr. Trevor, what do you say to that?
Your accomplice has admitted everything.
Surely it goes without saying.
You admit your part in it too, then?
I admit nothing at all.
What?
Have you forgotten that the Kinesis machine was ripped to shred by an explosion? Short of me admitting to a crime, there's really no possible way for you to prove I did anything wrong.
No!
Order, order, order!
Whatever this man says, I admit everything. He threatened to expose my secret, so I went along with his plan. And Lord Ben 6.
Yes.
I hope you'll accept my apologies. What happens next is in your hands, of course.
I have heard more than enough now. I hereby present the final findings of this court. Wait, what? This trial is not the proper forum in which to pursue the alleged wrongdoings of Mr. Trevor. And then is Professor Albert Harper.
Very true. It had slipped my mind.
Wait. Are you trying to say that we still haven't proven that it couldn't be?
Oh no! Everything is circumstantial! Isn't he one of your closest friends?
As the court has heard, Dr. Side has admitted to the allegations brought by the defense, by absolving the defendant of any possible guilt. Wait, what? You mean? At the present time, it is the conclusion of this court that the defendant was not involved in any wrongdoing. Does the prosecution have any objection?
Oh my god! Are we leaving it hanging? None, my lord.
Congratulations, Mr. Naruhodo! You've proven Professor Hazebrain's innocence!
But this is... Without further ado then, the adjudication. Unless the prosecution or defense have any other matters to discuss.
I don't know. This doesn't feel quite right. Why did Dr. Side suddenly admit to it like that?
Is everything alright, Mr. Naruhodo?
Like you said before, the way the trial is set to end now, the judge will certainly deliver a verdict of not guilty. But is that really what we want? What the defense should be pushing for now is... Okay, I'm gonna say it right now. I'm going to remember that the last time this happened, and that they were not allowed to continue going forward, we allowed I can't forget the name of this guy, but the guy with the heavy cat to escape. I'm sorry, but I don't think that we had to go into immediate adjudication. We had to go all the way down.
Objection!
The defense objects to the trial ending at this time, my lord.
I beg your pardon?
We demand one final testimony. God, the music.
What? You do realize I'm about to adjudicate in favor of your client, I presume? Why are you playing at now, my Necronos spread? Why would you want to obstruct the conclusion of the trial at this point? A defense lawyer in his right mind would do that.
I mean, he's a Naruto.
Mr. Naruhodo, what exactly are you thinking?
The truth, the whole truth, and a way to bring it all into the open.
Right?
Yes, in hindsight.
Ah, yes, one word of warning before I go. If in the course of the trial this afternoon you perceive even a shadow of doubt about the truth, let it out of your sight. Pursue it like a dog with a bone. To the bitter end, you understand. Do not falter whatever may come to pass.
This is my first case after exactly Zack. Oh god, this is gonna be horrible. I'm sure Mr. Shums knew. He must have deduced that this would happen. Yes, I'm here in court to advocate for my client and to secure an acquittal. Obviously. But that's not at all. That's not all. I believe that I have a duty to the court. To pursue the whole truth of the case until every last detail is laid bare. And that is why the defense is for further testimony from Dr. Scythe.
Testimony from me? About what?
about the nature of your collaboration with Mr. Enoch Drebber.
In case it's escaped your attention, I've already admitted to everything I did. The whole truth has already been revealed. So stop wasting everyone's time. As his lordship has made very plain, your client would get the acquittal you wanted for him. There's simply no point protracting this business further with another tedious cross-examination.
Objection!
Yay! Pray, forgive my careless handling of that hallowed bottle. I slipped. That's what you call it? What is your objection, Lord Ben 6? The prosecution also calls for supplementary testimony from the witness.
Don't be stupid!
If there is more to this case then that has yet come to light, will join my learned friend in pursuing the facts until the bitter end.
You what?
Lord Ben 6. More too irregular, to say the least. However, as the prosecution also calls for it, I will uphold the request. I have died twice in this game and I'm at 1 health. Do not test me! Besides, you will testify for the court, explaining the full extent of your involvement in the murder apparently committed by Mr. Drebber.
Very well.
This is the final testimony. This is gonna be very, very heavy.
It all began at the scene when I saw the waxwork and the note tucked inside his jacket. The actual body of the victim, as indicated in the note's instruction, was beneath the experimentation station.
Nah, this game recovers immediately right there. I don't need a net save to save. If I'm gonna die, I'm gonna take it. I'm not gonna put any Jones about having been wrong or anything. If I was wrong, I was wrong.
The actual body of the victim, as indicated in the note's instruction, was beneath the experimentation station. The body had to be arranged in certain ways to implicate the defendant, which was my job. I enlisted the help of the entire forensic investigation team to dress the scene appropriately. It was about the execution 10 years ago. It's a state secret of the highest level. I had to protect it.
There's something else here. So I was right. Stage and the machine were all specially designed for the deception.
So it seems, and all meticulously prepared. You did well to see through it. You're a very shrewd boy.
Oh my god, that smile. So kind of you to say.
What about this autopsy report then? All it did was record the location of the body as being in the Crystal Tower instead of under the stage. That's all? It's a terrible corruption! Only my team were aware of the deceit, and then only under my explicit instructions. Nobody else at Scotland Yard knew anything about it, I assure you.
Must be thankful for small mercies, I suppose. Well, I believe the testimony has clarified everything. There's no particular need for a cross-examination, I would say. No, I disagree. I can shake the feeling that something's wrong. Just look at the expression on Dr. Side's face. Isn't the defense right to cross-examine any witnesses following testimony?
What is it about you Japanese that makes you also doggedly persistent?
Very well. If you so desire, counsel, proceed with the cross-examination. Yes, my lord.
It all began at the scene when I saw the waxwork and the note stuck inside the jacket.
From what you described before, it sounds like the note was anonymous. Do you have any idea of who was behind it?
There are very few people that know about what really happened 10 years ago to start with.
So only these two.
But anyway, I'd never heard of this engineer, so no, I had no idea.
Yet, despite not knowing who was behind the plan, you went along with it?
I had no choice. Protecting the professor's secret was my only concern.
But the horse has bolted now, and the stable door will never shut again.
Scotland's child reputation will be immeasurable damage as a result of all of this.
Yes. Thank you, Lord Ben Six. I'm well with that.
So as I understand it, what you found in the burgers was the waxwork model. Where then was the victim's body?
The actual body of the victim, as indicated in the note's instruction, was beneath the experimentation stage.
Hold
That
it!
lines up. So you knew about the special construction of the stage used to carry out the trick then?
It was quite obvious what had happened with the victim and the waxwork.
And you switched the two over, didn't you? In other words, you recorded the victim's body as having been discovered in the Crystal Tower and the waxwork? Yeah, I mean, at this point, she is already outside of this spectrum. This is just about the actual murder, so what's next? You recorded the victim's body as having been discovered in the Crystal Tower and the waxwork?
I wrapped it and sent it by carriage to the specified address at the specified time.
And why were you given such directions?
Presumably so it could be recovered by Trevor and returned to Madame Tussauds.
Ah, I see. You put the beer cage back on the experimentation stage.
Yes, although someone obviously made a mistake about which case should go where. I thought it made it perfectly clear to the team, but still.
I suppose you were focused on the victim's body, that being a more important detail.
The body had to be arranged in certain ways to implicate the defendants, which was
Hold
my
it!
job.
When you say arranged, I presume you mean with this.
Yes, the instruction engineer's notes said something along the lines of fabricate some evidence to make it clear that Hairbrain alone could have killed Asmin.
So you mean that was your doing?
I fetched Hairbrain's ridiculous screwdriver from the stage and took it with me alone to the abyss under the stage where the beer cage had fallen.
Alone, Doctor?
I didn't feel it would be appropriate to involve anybody else in that particular part of the deception.
What a ridiculous woman. Oops. Oh no. Oh, I thought that was a piece of my controller.
There was a void under the stage where I found the birdcage lying in the dirt. I approached it, leaned down, and slowly opened it up. Then I took the screwdriver in both hands and plunged it into the man's chest.
And are you saying this was post-mortem? And then you noted that in your fake autopsy report. As a fictitious cause of death.
Exactly.
So, the actual cause of death was...
The trauma resulting from the 30-foot drop.
My word. What is it, Mr. Sato?
Something about Dr. Seidlat's statement. It's playing on my mind, that's all.
Yes. Mine too. Dr. Seid!
There's really no need to shout. I can hear you perfectly well.
The defense calls for you to add what you just said to your formal testimony!
Oh? Which part?
What I want her to supplement her testimony with is what she did to the victim. How you stabbed Mr. Asman in the chest, that part!
Fine, if that's what you want. But there's really no point.
The prosecution concur. Wait, what? There's really no need to point. Sorry, am I screaming too loud? Sorry. I actually have been doing it. Yeah, I have to be more careful. I'm pretty sure that that's gonna spike the mic when we stream, and I'm gonna be, as you know, I'm gonna be Victor Kudo, so I need to be more careful about my microphone. Sorry, thank you.
Very well. You will supplement your testimony now, witness.
If you wish, my lord.
I really got into the action, that's all. Oh! I thought you meant me! Because I know that I'm shouting! I'm sorry, I thought that it was me! Sorry!
I stood over the victim's corpse with it laying in the topple cage and put the screwdriver into the
Hold
chest.
it!
So it was you who stabbed Mr. Asman with this? Sorry, Perry.
Yes, far easier than dissection, I assure you. No precision required.
But a welcome change. Well, to be quite honest, I was watching. There's this woman lawyer who was streaming that game, and I kinda realized that she makes it by episodes, and it takes like 3 hours. I know that I said Javi that the episodes would take between 2 and 2 hours and a half, but I just realized that that is just because I was watching a playthrough that made no mistakes. And something very interesting. Since we're playing on Discord, that means that we have to wait until the text loads, which is still yet another small pause, but that accumulates per line. You know where I'm going with this, right? 2 hours or 2 hours and a half, it's just not enough for what I think that we're gonna be streaming with Javi. I have to warn him about this later. Thank you for reminding me about that one, by the way.
The victim died instantly from a snapped neck. All I did was carry out the instruction I'd been given.
As unflinching as ever, no doubt. I imagine you didn't bat an eyelid when you dropped the weapon into his body.
There was no need to bat my eyelids.
And what else did you do to twist the facts?
Remind the core, why don't you? If you wish. I enlisted the help of the entire forensic investigation team to trace the scene appropriately.
Hold it!
The entire team? In perverting the course of justice?
My team consists of the very best investigators there are. I demand loyalty from all members. We operate in a core of chivalry of sorts.
Chivalry. Okay. You aid and abet a murderer, commit perjury, and dare you talk of chivalry?
It was a matter of priorities.
What?
Nothing was more important than protecting the secret of the professor. The team did what was necessary without losing sight of the primary goal. I consider their conduct exemplary.
Oh my god!
Don't concede the point, Mr. Naruhodo. You mustn't let her win.
I need a law. Wait, what?
I'll take the challenge as tacit acceptance. Now can we move on?
Did I just ask for a lawyer? The lawyer?
The truth about the execution 10 years ago is a state of a secret intelligence. I was supposed to protect it.
But at what cost? Fate in Scotland Yard is going to suffer a terrible blow as a result of this.
And your precious secret is out now anyway.
Yes, as you say. And I take full responsibility.
Calm me down, Dr. Scythe!
Surely there was some other way you could have protected the secret.
No, there really wasn't. I've done my utmost, believe me.
I don't know, Zack. I'm pretty sure that he's not gonna be born for a while.
In many ways, I respect your determination.
I nearly froze under the cold stare as she said that.
I do believe she was being genuine, though, Mr. Naruhodo.
That's her story.
She's admitted everything and revealed her full involvement in the crime. I do wonder if there could really be much more to it.
Well, I don't know, but I just have a feeling.
Do you, Mr. Naruhodo? The truth is, I find it strange too. How those two are reacting to this in completely opposite ways, I mean.
Yeah, that's actually quite creepy. Yes, exactly. For some reason I feel sure they're still trying to hide something. Okay. I want the other one, just to make sure. So I do all of this and ask her about the other one. She does this. She uses a knife. Sorry, the screwdriver. She decides that it's time to cut a cake and check if the guy is cake or a human. Okay. Dr. Syed, what you said before about the real cause of death, I believe that may be significant, so could you change it to your supplementary statement to explain that instead? Oh, of course, of course.
Very well. The actual cause of death was a neck trauma Asman suffered from the 30-foot fall.
Hold it!
You're quite sure of that? It was a result of a broken neck?
Oh, wait. So this broke from below. That means this is the one that broke. But wait. Now we have... Where is the topsy report? There it is. Broken vertebra. You're quite sure of that? It was a result of a broken neck?
Yes, as a professional that was more than apparent. You'd never know just by looking at the photograph of the victim though, would you?
No, that's very true.
Obviously not. Which is precisely what coroners are needed to determine the actual facts.
Yes, assuming they can be trusted. There's no point calling her assessment to question without evidence. Let's get back to the testimony.
Very well.
Okay, there it is. The autopsy report. I have only one piece of life, and I'm not sure about this. She says that the actual cause of death was a neck trauma Asman suffered. But let's see the actual corpse. I have advanced the game too much. And there was a lot of testimony here, so yeah, I think that you're right on this one. I'm gonna have to save this one. If only because I don't want to do all of the testimony now. Okay, so let me check. The actual cause of death was this. Then she says that she arranged the body. No, let me see if I die. If I die, it's gonna be my fault, but after that, maybe I should actually ask for help. For example, recording the stab wound as the cause of death in the autopsy report. Death being by the falling step. Let me check something. So what is it about the... No, I said that let me try to die first if I have to die. But first, I'm gonna have to I want to die first in case I made the mistake, if any. And because I want the error to be mine. If I die, then I'll take some help. But there's something here about the screwdriver. She took the screwdriver. She says that she killed him after. Sorry, that she put the screwdriver after he was dead. But the screwdriver was found on the stage. She took it there. This exploded, and this was poking through the grill in the base. This is what happened after it exploded. But yes, thinking about this, it doesn't make sense. If she says that the murder weapon was that she used the screwdriver, why did she not move it to the corpse as well? This. I'm gonna put this.
Objection!
Okay, so it's gonna be you, I guess. That will do. But my lord, wait! Oh, okay. I wonder if...
Guilty!
Yeah, I'm gonna be calling...
Guilty!
Yeah, small hint,
Guilty.
just a hint.
Guilty!
Kill me!
Oh my god. Barry, take note of a counter or something, because dear lord! Do I want this or do I want this? I should just resume. Back, hint time, definitely. It's embarrassing. I have died thrice in this case. At least. Yes, it's a photograph, right? I imagine that something had to do with it. Wait, is it similar to what I said?
Hold it!
Is it just the fact that it would have been more incriminating in the first place if the screwdriver would have been there in the first place?
Hold it!
I mean, the photograph makes it very difficult for me to prove in any way that the cause of death was another one entirely. Oh my god, not again. Give me a second. You are a bot. And bot. Yeah, I noticed that the road was running. Wait a minute. The blood is running. The blood is running downward. Why is it running downward? Wait a minute. If I drop blood, it would splatter randomly. as in the same way that the coffee from today, Barry, splattered all over the place. But this blood is going in one specific direction, down. And she's saying that she killed him when he was in the ground? How? How can she say this? What had been around? Okay, no, this is not the one that I want. Where is the one that actually shows me the Necromancer from the favorite book? Have her change it. We actually had an accident today that is very relevant to this. We went to Starbucks. I tripped when I was taking my coffee to the table. All over the table. And it splattered everywhere. Well, half of it. It kinda became from a venti, it became an alto. Barry did not let me leave that, will not let me leave that down. That is actually gonna help me now, because I've just realized that if you have a splatter of any kind, it spreads on the direction of gravity. And if that already is at the floor, it splatters everywhere. But that drop of blood went down. So that means that the corpse was not lying down. That corpse was standing up. If it was standing up, this happened before the whole thing happened in the first place, right? But where's she hidden? There it is. You're right. This does make sense. I cannot believe that you actually hadn't thought of that. Good one.
Objection!
Thank you, Zach. That was a very good hint. We got a nasty feeling. But this inconsistency points to an extremely uncomfortable truth. Oh my god! Is this Omen? What on earth is the matter, Council? You lost your tongue? I apologize, my lord. Dr. Syed, in that last statement of yours, there's just one point that seems to defy explanation. Out with it, my learned friend. Zack, thank you so much. There's an obvious inconsistency between your description and this photograph, which shows the victim in the birdcage following the events that led to his death.
Objection!
Carl has already examined that photograph in depth. There's nothing new we can learn from it.
Objection!
Yes, we have already considered it, that's true. But we now know the facts to be different. What do you mean? I believe we should let the defense explain. Where in this photograph would we see the alleged inconsistency with the witness's statement? You're right, Zack. It's a blonde.
Take that!
Look closely at the blonde stain on the victim's chest. It clearly extends in a downward direction toward the man's feet. And why is that significant, Council? If the victim was stabbed moments before the kinesis machine was set in motion, that's entirely it. If the victim was stabbed moments before the kinesis machine was set in motion, that's entirely expected. Wait a minute! Of course not, that's not what happened! We're not talking about feet. Oh, right, of course. Yeah, because according to the autopsy report... Oh, sorry, no. Now I'm not really sure if we could say that it's about the autopsy report. Oh my god. But he felt the corpse. Now I'm sure that it's the corpse. Fell 35 feet. Exactly, my lord. Dr. Syed made it very clear in her testimony just now. At the point at which she stole Professor Harebrind's screwdriver and stabbed the victim. Hello, Eldrick, by the way. Was after the Grand Deception was set in motion, when the birdcage had fallen below the stage out of sight. From the shape of it, it's clear that the birdcage would have fallen on its side after the 30-foot drop. And if the victim had really been stabbed whilst inside the birdcage in that position, the blood from the wound would have spread out equally in all directions. Which is what I was talking about, the coffee. Yes, Perry, I was talking about the coffee! For it to have formed the longitudinal appearance we see in the picture, it's inconceivable! Given that the victim's blood seeped vertically downwards from the wound, it must be the case that when you stabbed Mr. Assman, he was standing up. In short, Dr. Scythe, your latest testimony was a total fabrication! Ah! God, Overture to Pursuit is just fantastic. I knew it. I was right! Now, I've identified the contradiction. There's only one way to explain the facts. We've all been under a great misapprehension here.
What? What sort of misapprehension?
I'm ruined by my pronunciation.
What sort of misapprehension?
Dr. Scythe? You claim you were coerced into helping Mr. Trevor as a result of the note he left in the waxwork. You claim that you made changes to the scene of the crime to implicate the defendant. And you claim that you authored a fake autopsy report to cover your tracks. But one of those claims is an out-and-out lie. Because the question of what the bloodstain really tells us has only one possible answer.
If that is the case, what is it, man?
Counsel, you've clearly struck upon a revelation. Now tell the court what it is. Which part of Dr. Scythe's story is shown to be a lie by the contradiction in her testimony?
How she was coerced? Dr. Scythe, clearly, you weren't really coerced by some letter at all. What? If you were, where's the note? It's nowhere to be seen! That's just maybe. So why don't you present it to the court, if the certain vexes you? Obviously, I've already disposed of it, and I'm not best in the slightest.
Counsel, need I remind you that it was you yourself who established the connection, the coercion.
I'm afraid of little. Oh my god. Okay, so that's 4 losses! Is insufficient recompense for such a blunder. I shall have to penalize you. I'm sorry. This is embarrassing as heck.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty!
Kill me.
I'm just going to. You know where I saved? It's not. It's gonna be quite a lot back, so I'm just gonna go with retry from missing. Besides, it's gonna be here. You haven't actually used this continue system, have you? Okay. The stabbing of the victim. Yeah, of course, because that happened before. The answer is very simple if you consider the sequence of events. If when the victim was stabbed, the blood from the wound seeped downwards as it did. Zack, don't roops out of the wound. If when the victim was stabbed, the blood from the wound seeped downwards as it did, we can be sure that the victim must have been either sitting or standing upright at the time. But as you rightly pointed out, the birdcage would have fallen on its side when it fell beneath the stage. Yes, it would, which tells us that the victim must have been in that position of his own accord.
Objection!
That's impossible! The man was dead, remember?
No, that is the misapprehension! When the birdcage fell from the stage into the void below, it must have hit the ground with considerable force. Wait, he survived! But Mr. Assman didn't die in the fall. He probably lost consciousness for a while, but when he came round, he got to his feet to climb out the cage. Just as Dr. Side appeared. I'm about to break you down completely, am I? If the victim was in fact alive at that point in time, it changes everything. Mr. Ori Asman's killer wasn't the defendant, Professor Albert Harebrain. Nor was it the mastermind behind the stage trickery, Mr. Enoch Trevor. It was you, Dr. Cornyside! I knew that it was you.
Order! Can this possibly be true?
Have you been taking me for a fool? It was you, was it? You kill him.
You hoped that by admitting to being an accomplice in Mr. Trevor's scheme, the trial would end before you were accused of a far worse crime. Cold-blooded murder! Oh, do shut up! You're so desperate now you're making all this up, as if I would do something like that!
Objection!
I assure you the defense is not desperate, Doctor! Mr. Navajo has established the fact using evidence and logic alone! Huh, logic? Don't make me laugh! Sounds like your logic has a gaping hole in it! What? What do you mean? I'd have thought it was obvious! A motive, boy, you're lacking a motive! What possible reason could I have to kill Mr. Asman?
Asman was involved in any number of criminal activities, from coercion to theft to murder. But there is no known connection to Dr. Side there. Rather bitterly to say, it does seem somewhat far-fetched.
True, there's no obvious motive, but there's still something in the back of my mind. I feel sure I've seen something somewhere that hints at why the coroner might have done this. Yes, I might have tampered with the crime scene, and I concocted a fake report, but murdering someone for no reason, that is a very different story.
Objection!
No. When you question what possible reason you could have for wanting No, when you questioned what possible reason you could have for wanting to kill Mr. Asman, something did come to mind. What?
What was it, counsel? Enlighten the court at once.
Yes, we suggested that, didn't we? Something that seems strange, but we had no reason to suspect it at the time. There's a particular object that explains why Dr. Side would have wanted to kill Mr. Asman. It's a scalpel. Or rather, scalpels.
Did you say scalpels?
Ah! It would appear that war has struck a chord, Doctor. You! Come on! Out with it! It was yesterday when we visited your laboratory. Look at this big tickbook here. I did remember this because that was very weird. It appears to be an accounting ledger. It's a record of forensic investigation team's pending, I think. Oh? What is it? It's clear that the team purchases various equipment and supplies on a monthly basis, but... Well... one entry seems rather strange. Really? In what way? They're buying 500 scalpels every month. I did remember that it was a huge amount, but I did not actually get this yet.
$500 scalpels a month?
At first I wondered what on earth could you be using that many scalpels for. But actually I realize now it's not the scalpels themselves that are significant. It's the money for them, disappearing every month from the department's account.
Asman's criminal organization relied heavily on extortion for its funding.
Oh, it's the actual money involved!
Tracing the money from the forensic investigations team to find out where it was going would be extremely straightforward. 10 years ago, when Mr. Asman was still a journalist and wrote this article about Mr. Trevor, he may well have stumbled upon information as he was researching the story. Information relating to Dr. Syed's darkest secret that he could use to rack money from her for the next decade.
Your darkest secret? Good lord, you mean?
I don't know what happened on the night of that execution 10 years ago, but clearly the opportunity to rid yourself of that menace was too tempting to pass up. So in the end you weren't coerced at all, were you? You did it entirely of your own free will. You stabbed Mr. Asman in the heart with all your might. Silence the blackmailer who knew your dark secret forever. You'll never understand, none of you! What we've had to keep covered up all these long years.
Somebody had to kill the professor. Pretty sure that this is not going to be in this case, but somebody had to kill the professor. Because that is the way some... Yeah. Very little of the machine remains after it was ripped apart by the bomb. The truth of this case can never be properly established unless you speak out.
And if you decide not to, it's very possible that Kearney Syed will escape punishment for her crimes. Please, sir, own up to what you've done and tell the court the truth about what happened.
10 years ago, you told the truth and you were robbed of a bright and successful future as a result. I can certainly understand your bitterness and your consternation now. However, this is surely the chance you've been waiting for. To sever the hold that fate's had over you for all this year.
Super high voltage instantaneous kinesis? I mean, really? It's the adult brain, mocks scientists that are the worst. Ow. They don't recognize the fact that they don't even have talent. They can't even get that right. And so they end up chasing impossible dreams, having unbridled faith in their abilities. They go on and on about their wonderful hypotheses, with their stupid eyes shining like a little child's. Yeah, I decided to stop using his robot voice anymore, because he's confessing.
They make me sick. I can abide their foolishness.
Careful, Mr. Trevor.
I was particularly pleased with the kinesis machine. It made for quite a show, didn't it?
So you admit it? You admit that it was nothing more than a sham made for the purpose of killing the victim?
Yes, I admit it.
I did it all, in the name of revenge. Revenge for the future that Mr. Asman article had deprived you of 10 years earlier. But the revenge you sought didn't stop at Asman, did it? Which is where that very particular waxwork comes in. Yes, I see.
The condemned convict that you saw rising from the grave in Lowgate Cemetery 10 years ago. If your account of those events was all true,
then obviously Scotland Yard couldn't afford to acknowledge what had happened. Even if it meant discrediting a bright young man and crushing any future career he might have had.
But your plan required that you abduct that particular waxworm model, in order to exact your revenge on Scotland Yard as well. Or on Dr. Syed, to be precise. It was a year ago. I saw Mr. Gardner, twist of fate, Asman turned up at my workshop. He didn't remember who I was, of course. He just wanted to employ my services as an engineer. And he
We happened to have a paper with him. An article on the front page caught my eye. About the coroner who handled that bogus autopsy being appointed head of a new forensic team.
Oh, you didn't have a plan to... You just wanted to make her suffer.
When I learned that news, my cognitive processor started to devise his plan.
What a horrid tale.
He robbed me of my future, but I wanted to use the man's own wiles against him, for revenge, and have that rotting Scotland die, eating out of my hand at the same time. I wanted them all to suffer the same humiliation I had to suffer.
Yeah. I definitely feel that it's perfect that he doesn't have any more robot boys now anymore. Your actions against those who bring your future were justified as revenge, at least to yourself. Certainly no one has the right to destroy another's prospect, especially for purely selfish gain. And yet, in carrying out your plan, you did exactly that to someone else, didn't you?
Did I?
Professor Hervin's only crime was passion for his hypothesis. But you had no compunction about sacrificing his future to effect your revenge. You knew that he would be forever branded a failure and a fraud. Perhaps life treated you unfairly 10 years ago. And perhaps other misconduct left your life in tatters. But remember this. Your own actions resulted in exactly the same thing for another perfectly innocent young man. He's breaking down, isn't he? Norman 6, what of Dr. Salk? Those were the breakdowns? An immediate warrant for her arrest has been granted, and she's been remanded in custody. I presume she will face trial in the coming days along with Mr. Draper. A most regrettable situation indeed. She's made great contribution to her profession over the years. It really is a hard pill to swallow. Yes, I hadn't actually thought of the fact that Ashley Graydon did exactly the same thing at the end of Ace Attorney, The Greatest Attorney 1. Wait, did we just have what is essentially the ending of the first game in the third case? What's going to happen now? She's made great contributions to her profession over the years. It really is a hard one to swallow. However, that is a topic of on some future occasion. For now, Professor Harebrained.
Yes?
It's been a while since I've been the voice of the Professor Harebrained. It seems there was a great deal more to your experiment than you realized. However, I think we can assume now that all the sordid details have been brought to light. This has been a very long and profound trial. I'm pleased to say, you are absolved of all guilt.
This whole experience has taught me a very great but painful lesson. This dedicated scientist, this devotee of natural philosophy. I've been selfish and self-centered, and above all, a fool.
Professor,
I've spent my life thinking of nothing but my research. Misguidedly believing that I could do whatever I set my mind to, despite my lack of talent. And the worst of it is, in the process I've caused others pain and misery. Others who are far, far greater people than I.
No, Professor! That's not true!
What?
don't tar yourself with the same brush as Draper. What happened was his doing, and he's alone. This outcome is his fate, not yours. You're not to blame in any way. Norman 6?
and the derision with which he referred to you earlier. Calling you fool? Talentless? Talentless even? The man has no idea. To believe in yourself and work your fingers to the bone to realize your dreams. That's laudable, not laughable. No one has a right to deride another for such choices.
Oh. Thank you, Barack.
So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury,
Yes, my lord.
it's the court's expectation that you find the defendant not guilty of the charge of which she stands accused. I presume there are no objections.
As from me, my lord.
Certainly not.
This trial has really made me think, but this is the right decision.
It's all been proven methodically and rigorously. I have no misgivings whatsoever.
This woman.
What's that? It's done, is it? It's all over?
Oh my god.
I don't know what's to become of the judges. I don't recognize the place.
Very well. In that case, I hereby pronounce the defendant. Nope! Guilty! This was a very, very, very difficult case. Oh, she's a woman. I noticed when I played and lost, she has a very female voice. Oh, just adjourn. You know, because she says guilty. Yeah, that's how I know. It's over. That was some trial. Also, I might be out of a job again. I just went against Lord Strongheart's instructions, so yeah, maybe jobless a second time. Professor, what a splendid outcome, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It is. Congratulations, Professor Herwin.
Oh, if you remember, there were instructions set by Lord Strongheart to never call Scythe to make testimony. Actually, the one that made... Oh, no. Not one I want to mention me. Zach, don't tell me, but are we actually going to have to defend another prosecutor? You know, going back to the roots? A 1-5? Sorry, a 1-4? Ooh!
Oh, it is. It is. Congratulations, Professor Herwin.
Mr. Naruhodo! Mrs. Sato! I am truly beside myself with gratitude. How can I ever thank you enough?
I'm just glad it's all been cleared up, that you realized you were just caught up in a bad situation.
Right now, you know I found research on money. I'd give the whole lot to you. Every penny.
Well, that's very kind, but I'm just a student, so...
We don't need any financial reward. Your acquittal is more than enough.
Guys, we live in... We kinda need some... I mean, we need to pay rent to Sholmes.
Oh dear. Oh, what can I do? How about this, Samantha? The paper about my hypothesis is inside.
Well, just as a memento then, thank you. A gilded. I was trying to remember him, by the way.
I've been wondering, Professor. What are you going to do now?
Oh, am I? Yes. What am I going to do? My hypothesis and my green machine lie in ruins. But still, it's been so long since I was last in London, so perhaps I'll just enjoy some painting. I must explore the great exhibition whilst I'm here too, and see if any inspiration hits me.
Oh, yes, that's a wonderful...
I can't allow that. Oh, whoa, I actually guessed. Lord Van Six, what are you doing in here?
A rock.
sorry you had to go through that, Albert.
Oh, well, honest, it was terrifying. You were like a great demon behind your bench there, snarling down on your prey.
You're one of the few three friends I have. Couldn't leave it to anybody else to handle the persecution or the defense.
Wait. Sorry?
Or the defense? Did I hear you just say that right?
I always knew that you had my best interests at heart, don't worry. How about you show me around while I'm here in town? It's been a long time since we left university. We have a lot to catch up on.
Why am I scared?
Listen, Albert. In a few days, your acquittal will be made official. When that happens, let's head straight to Dover. Accompany you.
What?
From there, you'll cross the channel and make your way back to Germany. Already purchased the tickets.
You're protecting him.
But no, hold on a minute, Barack. What about the Great Exhibition? This is the last chance of a lifetime for me. I want to look around and...
No sightseeing, Albert. Give up on the idea.
Fan 6, what are you not telling me? You fear the Reaper as well? The actual real Reaper?
Sometimes it's hard to see any want in those eyes, Barack.
Urban 6? What's all this about?
Necessary precaution.
Yes. I think I understand.
You do?
Well, Harris told me that when you met Lorban 6 at his office some days ago, he asked how Mr. Natsume was doing.
Yes, that's right. I remember being surprised at the time. I'm thinking it was nice of him to ask.
The point is, Mr. Natsume is still alive and well. Even though it's been more than 6 months now since he stood trial with the Reaper as the prosecutor.
Oh! You mean the Reaper's influence doesn't stretch overseas?
Those in the Reaper's sides meet their ends days or sometimes months after their acquittal.
Where's Gina? Where's Gina? Where's Gina?
That's been the pattern up to now.
But of course we know that both Mr. Natsume and Gina were completely innocent.
Yes, I know she's with Gregson, but it's been 6 months. Or something like that. So I'm now scared because he said even mere months. They need to go to France now. I want them gone here.
True. And perhaps that converts the Reaper's actions. The truly innocent are spared. I don't want to take any chances with a close personal friend.
Barack!
The mustache Nipponese. This man should leave the country without delay. That's why I'm backing him off to Germany at once.
Right. Does your French shaped package get any say in it?
Goodness! Was it your intention all along then, Lorban 6?
In core where people think of him as the Reaper, this man seems absolutely merciless.
And yet,
Sometimes I feel as though I don't understand him at all. It's time to go, Albert. Back to the prison for the time being.
And yes, alright. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo. Thank you so much for everything.
Not at all, Professor. It was a pleasure getting to know you.
Best wishes, Professor Hairbrain.
Well, once the dust has settled, you must come to visit me in Germany.
Well, actually, I don't know how law works, and this is ancient law. Maybe they need to make reports and the like?
Anyway, goodbye for now.
now my Nipponese friend.
Oh, yes? I thought you'd gone too.
We have matters to discuss. Can you spare me some time?
Do you want to talk with
Me?
I'll be waiting in the courtroom in 10 minutes. This is already a 3 hours old stream. Well, that was strange. For some reason I didn't get that sense of impending doom as he walked away this time. Thank you, Zach, because this is gonna be great. Enigma. Baroque 6. What does he want to discuss, I wonder? The answers await in the courtroom, I suppose. Here goes then. Now what? Are we gonna reveal the face? So are you satisfied? You see a guileless scientist from a great injustice. Yes, I think so. I'm relieved at least that the man's innocence could be proven. Anyway, I imagine you've been wondering where my animosity towards Uniponis comes from. Well, first I thought you just didn't like me. I imagine you saw me as a pretentious child from an important land who had no business being here. Now, I think differently. You clearly know our ways. So I would guess that some specific incident led you to your thorough dislike of my race. Will you tell me what happened, please? The professor. I thought I'd never hear that name in this courtroom again, to be honest. He took your brother's life. Clint. My brother was Clint Van 6. Finally. 16 years ago, when I was still just in my teens. Oh, hi, Ajoki. Thank you very much. So I have a new follower now. Welcome. We're in the tail end of case 3. And dear lord, what a case it was. This is a very, very big revelation right now. Or at least it seems to be happening right now. Okay. 16 years ago, when I was still just in my teens, he was already the director of prosecutions and a key member of the judiciary. I look up to him. He was everything I aspired to be. He was involved in the establishment of justice systems in foreign countries as well. There were exchange programs between Britain and other nations then too, to share knowledge and ideas. As part of one of those programs, 3 judicial students came to Britain from your homeland, the Empire of Japan. Oh! If it was 16 years ago, then one of them could have been my father. Of course. I remember Dr. Mikotoba well. I had no idea. I was a minor at the time, training at the prosecutor's office. One day, Clinton Strong introduced me to the 3 visiting Nipponese. So, you've actually met my father? He and his colleagues were polite and amicable. They were adept at their work and exacting in their standards. It was my first encounter with the Nipponese spirit, and it made a very great impression upon me. But 6 years later, that's when it happened. The investigation was going nowhere. There were no suspects even, just an ever-growing list of victims. And in the end, my brother became one of them. The lasting fact before the case was finally resolved. So sorry, little Francis, truly. He was always ready to put his life on the line for justice anyway, so he wouldn't have wanted it any other way. He lost his life to the killer, but it was his victory in the end. For me personally, though, it was a great loss. I found myself in a very dark place indeed. When I finally found out the killer's identity,
The reason why no one had been able to catch the man sooner ceased to be such a mystery. He'd been hiding in plain sight all the time.
In plain sight?
Are you aware of political events 10 years ago?
What?
It was a period of extremely sensitive diplomacy between the British and the Japanese empires.
A new treaty was being forged, I think.
Correct. The Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation was being concluded.
Isn't this the one that they mentioned at the first case in the series? In the first case?
The leaders of both countries were deep in their extensive political discussions, which is why this particular killer's appearance in court was conducted as a closed trial. If the British public had known the identity of the killer, not only would the treaty have been in jeopardy, but our two nations could very well have ended up at war.
What? A war? Between Britain and Japan? It was a Japanese man, isn't it?
What that one mean?
Oh my, you mean to say the professor was... He's gonna reveal the face.
When the trial reached its conclusion earlier, I thought to myself, yes, it's time. Time for you to come face to face with this hideous monster. I borrowed the key for the mask from the proprietress of the Waxwork Museum. So see for yourselves now. Confirm it with your own eyes. The truth that's been hidden this past decade.
I'm going to freaking cry, am I not?
That's the professor?
He's Japanese, isn't he?
Yes, that's him.
Until now, the thought never even crossed my mind. That the mass murderer, whose crimes shook Britain as never before, was Japanese.
Wait a minute. That face. I feel as though I've seen it somewhere. It's strangely familiar.
Kazuma? What's going on, man? It is you.
No! 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 No!
What? Father?
Kazuma? Did you get your memories back?
Kazuma! My best friend, Kazuma Asogi. After a whole year, finally his memories returned.
Holy freaking...
As he stood there before me. Ryunosuke. Hello again. My friend.
Kazuma-sama!
Are you kidding me?
Judicial Assistant Mikotoba.
It's been a very long road. Thank you. Thank you for guiding my friend here when I could not.
It was an honor.
This is amazing. I am loving this. Everything, the cinematography, the voices, everything.
Easily. Kazuma.
I owe you thanks, too, for taking good care of that in my absence.
Oh. Karuma, the great blade of the Asogi clan, passed down through the generations.
Karuma.
When we left Japan, this sword was at my friend's side. A Japanese man's katana is his soul, and he couldn't be parted from it. But then, when the incident happened, it was Susato-san's wish that I inherit the sword, and I've kept it with me ever since, along with my memories of the friendship we shared. With this by my side, I always felt that you were watching over me somehow.
Goodbye, sword.
I've made it. At last.
Father. Are you saying... Surely not. You mean, you knew all this time?
This happened?
I'm looking at it. But I still can't believe it. This mass murderer is Kazuma's father.
Kazuma? Do you even breathe right now?
Kazuma-sama.
Holy sh!
Ryunosuke, we have much to talk about. But now is not the time.
We definitely need to talk about this.
I'll be seeing you.
Wait a minute! The telegram from the final part of the game didn't say
That's
Kazuma, did he?
all Kazuma said.
That he said Asogi, and Asogi is the family name. Oh.
Before he turned and left us there, in the courtroom.
So goodbye, sword. Okay. Okay. So he's the living after image of the man who took my brother's life, is he? Yes, Kazuma Asogi, my best friend. 3 months ago, when Lord Strongheart introduced us, I had an inkling there was something there. Some connection. But why did Lord Strongheart do that? Why did he make Kazuma Lord Band 6's apprentice, and when he was suffering amnesia too? And was apprehended. Even executed. But his legalist just won't die. That's the sad truth. Anyway, that's all I had to say. I thank you for meeting with me as I asked. I'm pretty happy that I'm sitting down because I was about to fall to my knees. 10 years ago, my grandmother took me to the railway station. We were there to meet my father from the train. For me, it was the first time I'd ever seen him. Poor Susato-san. All this is tied up with painful memories for her too. She's never talked about this with me before though. It took time to have my father around, but just when I was starting to get used to it, he called me into his study one day. He told me that a great friend of his had passed away in London, and that the friend had left behind a son, a boy, 7 years my senior. Father told me the boy had made a promise to his late father, so he was studying to become a defense lawyer. I wanted to help, so I studied to become a qualified judicial assistant. So you also were doing this for him without knowing? I'm sure you worked out. That young man's name
was Kazuma Asugi. So you see, that's how he and I met.
For a brief moment, my great friend had returned, only to disappear again all too soon. But in that fleeting encounter, something stirred. Something that had been dormant for a long time. As if great wheels had been set in motion. I could almost hear them creaking into life. In some ways, it was the end of a chapter, but in many, it was the start of a new one.
To say that I would have no words about what I just saw, to say that I have no words about everything that happened here, would be an understatement. The understatement of the century. This case was incredible from start to finish. Everything that it kept revealing, little by little, has made the game more and more interesting, and I'm absolutely hooked about what is going to happen from it. I had no words at the end. I almost fell to my knees, even though I'm sitting in a chair. I almost slid through because everything that was going was amazing. But I think that for now we're gonna have to call it a night. I mean, after all, it's been 3 hours and a half. I think that there's not much that we can say anymore. But thank you very much for watching. This was quite a tumultuous stream. Connectivity issues, me losing like 4 times, and now I'm very, very hungry. I mean, I even got to use my coffee spilling incident at Starbucks as a reference to the case. Guys, thank you very much. Thank you for coming back because of my connection issues disconnected you. I'm really thankful for you. I cannot wait until the next one. But for now, this humongous case, it's over. See you next time, okay? Goodbye, everybody.